Hello, very good evening and welcome along to the Modus Super Series on the Live Lounge here in Portsmouth. It's the final night in terms of qualification through to tomorrow evening showpiece on the South Coast. And tonight, we're going to have a little bit of X Factor. We're going to have a little bit of brilliance. And talking about X Factor and brilliance, we've got the asset Paul Nicholson alongside me in the studio to talk all about tonight. But before we go there, let's head back to earlier on this afternoon where we saw a real enthralling Group C. This is how the table ended up. It was Dean Finn, the debutant, who won it on 16 points. It was that exciting. We had 7 players in it. Richard North had to withdraw this morning. He was replaced by Lloyd Walker, who won a couple of matches. Dean completed the card, and then there was a dramatic race for second space.
I think first and foremost, we need to congratulate Dean Finn on a brilliant campaign. And if we think about his week as a whole, predominantly he's been winning more games than the games he's lost per day. And that is a difficult thing to do. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that come Saturday night. But the battle between Brian Roman and Jensen Walker at the end, it had a bit of everything. Jensen played terrifically well at the start. And you thought, after 3 legs, this one's done and dusted because Brian was in the dust. He was just going through the motions, but he was given a bit of a sniff to get back into the game. And when he started taking out 2 dark combinations, we started to think, well, hold on a minute, something's possible here. And at the end, he was given an opportunity to get the job done, and Brian Roman is in Saturday.
And you could see there Jensen Walker's head in his hands. He couldn't believe what happened to him. Brian Roman through to the finals tomorrow evening. This is how the tournament bracket looks then. Alex Spellman booked his spot through to the finals by winning Group A on Wednesday afternoon. We're going to see him in action tomorrow night. He's still the bookmaker's favourite to go on and win the week. Dean Finn and Brian Roman, the winner and runner-up respectively of Group C. And 3 from the 5 in your picture there will progress their way through to the finals through Group B. Well, last night really was an enthralling evening's worth of arrows here at the Live Lounge. We saw some brilliance, we saw some excellent finishing, superb scoring, but it was Bolton who showed that real X factor.
He needed to hit that because Peter is lurking, waiting, chomping at the bit. And there you go. That's why it's so hard to beat.
He's going to leave himself on tops, forcing this to go. Forcing this dart at double 16 to be hit, and it is. What a contest we're being treated to here.
164. He has been limited to opportunities like this. He might take it though. Oh, come on.
The second leg, Peter J.
Are you having a laugh? Well, Jakes could find himself very much towards the top. Look at that from Andy with a jiggle.
Andy Bolton.
2 players find themselves on 6 points going into day 2's action. Andy Bolton and Martin Turner both winning 3 from 4 on night 1. Let's kickstart by talking about Andy. Peter Jakes got to such a good start that actually Andy didn't quite get the headlines, but towards the end of the evening, that 104 average meant that everybody was talking about him come the end.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think a lot of the time we talk mostly about Andy and how he does on the whole, but maybe we don't give him enough credit for the amount of brilliant games he puts in when he needs to. And that 104 average in his 3rd game last night, it was something that he did in a bounce back after a disappointing game. So it would be fascinating to get his insight into how he was feeling at that point. But it was a superb night's darts, and in a group that was so tight with so many bounce backs and stubborn nature stuff from the Yorkshire guys, Andy coming out on top, he should be very proud of himself.
In terms of Martin Turner, we didn't quite know what to expect from him going into the last night's session, if the truth be told, but what we saw from him was probably the best darts we've seen from him here at the Super Series.
Yeah, and that's saying something because he's been here plenty of times before. He's never made a Saturday, and that is a bit of a surprise for someone of his ability and experience. But it's easy for us to sit here and say that's the best he's played when he's been here, but the fact remains, it is. And for him to get 6 points, that's a solid foundation. He's just got to get the job done quickly tonight, because in the past, especially the last time he was here, he faltered towards the end. He doesn't want to have to do that again, trying to find those last 2 victories. So get it done quickly, and he'll be in there with a little bit of time to spare, hopefully.
Well, this is how the table looks going into tonight's action. As you can see, Andy Bolton and Martin Turner both on 6 points. Peter Jakes won his first two but lost his last two. But if the truth be told, no player is out of it so far. Even Romeo Gerbavac and Thomas Banks on 2 points respectively are still in the mix. This is how the odds look going into tonight's session. Andy Bolton going out the heavy 8-11 favourite. There's perhaps no surprise there. But in terms of qualification overall, it's one of those nights where everybody's still in play.
Yes, very much so. I think you look at someone like Romeo Gerbavac, he's only got 2 points. But if you dissect his performance levels, he was averaging over 90 for the night. He had a 90 average plus in every game. It's not as if he had 2 great games and 2 bad games. It was consistent, but people were playing their best darts against him. If he plays that same level tonight and people drop off a little bit, he could easily win 4 out of 4 and cruise through to Saturday night on debut. So anything's possible, and I implore the people watching at home, don't leave this from now until the end, because if we have the same sort of climax as Group C, this will be very watchable.
18 plus, gambleaware.org if you're going to have a flutter on the Super Series this evening. Right, to our first game of the evening session, and it sees Andy Bolton in action. He really was superb yesterday, winning 3 out of his 4 matches, looking to keep up a perfect qualification Saturday record here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, and I had a chat with him early on this evening. Andy, really good night for yourself yesterday. All 4 games really solid in terms of performance. You must have been really pleased with how it went.
Yeah, I think it was a very strong night all round. I thought everybody played really well. The first game, I think me and Thomas was a little bit nervy. I definitely felt, but it's important the first game in any group. The first game is massive, but when you come to Group B and C, then it's very important to get 2 points on the board. But yeah, overall, pleased with my performance, yeah.
Did it kind of set the tone for the evening? Okay, it wasn't the best of performances you mentioned, but once you got that first hit, it just kind of set you down, just give you room to manoeuvre for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, I think you definitely settle down. You know, you feel a lot more comfortable with 2 points on the board than no points, obviously. But I just felt really good last night. I've been away for quite a while now, sort of thing. Nearly 2 weeks I will have been away come the end of this week. So it's important to get something out of it and try and get back to Champions Week.
You mentioned to say you've been playing a lot darts. Obviously, you played Pro Tour. It was the end of the Challenge Tour season as well recently, and then you've come to play here. When you get to the end of those long stints, as you mentioned, a long time away from fame, does that actually give you that extra little bit of motivation that you don't go back empty-handed?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I didn't have the best. The Pro Tour didn't go too bad, but Challenge Tour didn't go as expected, and so it definitely gives you a kick up the backside to perform down here, because you don't want to go back. Just having a 2-week jolly.
Andy Bolton looking to end the year on a high here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. He's been away from home for 2 weeks, but he wants to be even further away from home for another 2 weeks and spend another fortnight stint here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. His first assignment on this Friday evening is the Terrier Peter Jakes, twice a weekly winner, the 51-year-old from Ardrossan in Scotland. He's looking to make it through to an 8 finals night in 8 appearances here at the Super Series. Up against him, the 51-year-old Yorkshire Whippet, Peter Jakes from Denby Dale, a weekly winner back in Series 1. If he is victorious come tomorrow night, it'll be the biggest ever gap in terms of a first and second win here at the Super Series. An intriguing night's worth of darts ahead of us here at the Live Lounge. All going to be officiated by Warwickshire's
First
George
leg
Baker,
Andy to
who's
throw
done a
first.
sterling job
Game on.
over the last couple of days. He's going to be with us for the remainder of the week. And alongside me for the evening's arrows is the asset Paul Nicholson.
Just give me more of what we had last night.
100.
Last night was fantastic. I'm not going to harp on too much about the numbers from last night, but they really were very impressive.
82.
91.69 an average for the group. And considering all that we saw from Peter, he had the only running average of the night under 90. When I read that this afternoon, I couldn't believe it.
And I can tell you that Peter's running average was above 90
51.
until his final match. of the evening where he lost this game with an average below the 80 mark against Andy Bolton. In fact, it was by far the lowest average of the evening. The previous lowest after that was an 82, or pretty much 82, by Thomas Banks against Andy Bolton. And it is the X Factor who has gone off to the quickest start of the two in this contest, leaving himself at a finish after 9. And he's got 6 darts from here to take out the opening leg of the evening's action.
Give that one a bit of a stare.
85.
Fixes it with the last dart. And the finishing last night. What more can you say when a group go over 40%? You can't ask any more than that.
45. Andy required 36.
We'll delve deeper into that in a second. Because
Game
now
shot on the first
Andy's
leg,
ahead after
Andy
that
Bolton.
13-dart start. Andy, nearly
Second leg,
45%
it's
on the
Peter to
doubles
take
last night.
first. Game on.
Romeo, 42%. Martin Turner, nearly 45%. Peter Jakes, 48% for the night. It was only Thomas Banks that suffered on the outer ring in the bullseye. But 48% for the night.
99.
And he only mustered 3rd position.
And this evening, carrying on in the same vein that last night left
60.
off. Bolton with a 13-darter to start. And his numbers, they're tour level numbers, if the truth be told. 93.03 his average for the night. 13 hits and 29 attempts on the doubles. 44% all told.
He's a good
41.
3 to 4 points ahead of his challenge tour numbers for the season after what he did last night. It just goes to show that when the week goes on, Andy gets better. That's why he always
140.
makes Saturday, because he knows how to pace himself.
Well, there's no pacing about what he's doing here. He is going full turbo right from the
100.
get-go.
Andy required 82.
It was a 13-darter to win leg 1. It could be an 11 to win leg 2.
Game
12
shot
will
on the
do.
second leg, Andy Bolton.
You said that Peter Jakes was a whippet. Well, maybe Andy Bolton's an Ibethan
Third
hound,
leg is Andy
because he's
to
going
throw
faster
first. Game
than a
on.
whippet right now, chasing down the rabbit.
Well, at the moment, Andy Bolton is on annual record pace. 50 darts is the record for the year to complete a match. That was by
100.
Connor Scott back in July, equated to 120.24. In a game against Stephen Jameson,
180.
as Peter Jakes kicks off leg 3 of a max, looking to make his own imprint in the game.
Yeah, I don't think you can worry too much about the fact that we're going to be suffering after the Lord Mayor's show tonight. I think they're just going to give us exactly what we had last night.
59.
And it was that good. I am more than happy to be calling this in with you, Henry, because I almost wanted this session to start again about 5 minutes after last night's was finished.
140.
It's one of those groups that when we looked at it on paper, we thought could not disappoint, and it has not disappointed. And the feeling this evening is that they're just going to carry on in the same
100.
vein that they did on Thursday.
Here's the worrying thing for Banks and Gerbavac, though. If this is what the top 3 are going to do again, what do Romeo and Thomas have to do to
105.
break through to the top 3? They might have to find career-defining numbers just to make Saturday.
It feels like one of those nights where somebody may have to average mid-90s for the evening to go through.
76.
If they're going to carry on the same vein as yesterday, particularly for Romeo and Thomas, they might be the numbers they have to accrue all night long, because the standard has been seriously
56.
good. That would have been for a 12-darter. And he's left himself on the cusp of a finish after 12, and he's not even going to get a look in, it seems, in this leg.
97. Peter required 20. Game
Not
shot
a
on the
problem.
third leg, Peter Jakes.
The winning legs in this game have been sensational.
Fourth leg, it's Peter to throw first. Game on.
Long may this continue. As for Jakes last night, he was
54.
almost an immovable object in the first couple of games. He was in trouble, but he found his way out with some simply
140.
ridiculous finishing. A 138, a 164. That treble 19 bed was very friendly to him, but his finishing was quite simply
100.
unbelievable at times. Much like Martin Turner, who was 8 from 10 in his first 2 games.
Well, unlike yesterday, where Andy
97.
pretty much used his get out of jail free card, if the truth be told, in his match against Thomas Banks, he is setting his stall out right away. In fact, both players are setting his stall out quickly.
55.
Bolton here. We're in leg 4 of the contest, the middle of leg 4 of this contest. And he's averaging just a shade under 108.
100.
But one thing that we mentioned yesterday is he makes excellence look so ordinary because of the way he goes about his business.
100.
If
And
he
you
was a
require
golfer,
164.
he'd be hitting fairways, he'd be hitting greens in regulation, he'd be getting a lot of pars and birdies pretty much every 4 holes. That's the way he plays.
100.
Constantly just inching the score down with 1 or 2 treble visits, and he is so difficult to stop.
100.
Well, that's
And you
another
require
par for the
64.
course leg here. He's left himself on a 2-darter after 12 and threatening the break of Jakes. Double 8. Clipped off the
Game shot
barrel
and the
in the
fourth
bed.
leg, Andy
Beautiful for
Bolton.
Bolton. He's got the break of Peter Jakes and he leads by 3 legs to 1.
Fifth leg, it's Andy to throw first.
When we talk about dart players being
Game
sharp,
on.
that shot is the proof. He hits the outside of the board next to that double 8 wire. And because his barrels are quite thick, he can cover
100.
that double 8 bed. That little shuffle to the right-hand side and that really sharp hit on double 8 just goes to show the micro adjustments
140.
that Andy Bolton can make when he's in this kind of form.
Well, that's the standard that's been set for the evening
46.
session. 13-12, 13-15. Every single leg in this match has been won in 5-visit range or less.
60.
And we aren't delusional to say that this is what happens all the time. It doesn't. This is a very special game. Andy is crushing
96.
a 91 average player in Peter Jakes right now. He's making 91 look like 75.
Jakes is playing to what was the par for the course score in
99.
terms of average, in terms of scoring, in terms of finishing. But as you say, it's been made to look ordinary. But he is going to get a look in here on the Bolton throw. He's going to head downstairs to head back up. Treble here.
99.
Leads himself on a finish after 12. But Peter may half feel that he's got 6 darts on here to reduce the gap back down to 3-2 and return this game to throw. However, Bolton here
134.
has
Andy
got an
by
opportunity to win the
160.
game. 160 is what he wants.
That's wonderful.
He requires 68.
But I will say this. When Jakes was in this position yesterday, he hit these shots.
64.
And I don't think he's getting another dart in this match. Andy's just been too good.
Double 16.
Game shot.
Carried
and the
on
match.
from
Andy
where he
Bolton.
left off. Andy Bolton has liftoff on this Friday evening. An average of 102.21. The X Factor has set his stall out and has told the rest of the field, come and get me if you can. A ton plus average, 4 out of 5 on the doubles. That was actually the first leg in the match that was won in excess of 5 visits. Peter Jakes played well, but it was made to look ordinary by the brilliance of Andy Bolton. Coming up after the break, we're going to watch game 2 of our evening session. It sees Romeo Gerbavac up against Thomas Banks.
Very good dart, he's done it. Not today.
Yeah, there was a chance, but there's no chance there.
FG's taken over here and he's...
Definitely not only.
he thinks it's it.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving you that.
Back end of the leg here, and it's not going to go the way I thought it was there. I was about to mention the fact that we do have that rule in place.
That is a great marker. And a great win for Ginge, who goes through. Oh, he's found it away days. He couldn't find the treble, but he can find the doubles. And he's found himself in the next round. Great dart. And I can't help but think that... Oh, and he's found it. Sean Nyland has knocked out Darts for Fun, the favourite for the singles competition and the winner of the pairs.
I don't think is too bad an idea, considering how the first 18 darts have gone for Ellis. Is this the first time we're seeing tag team darts?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Making the most of it, lads.
Time supporter and friend
Okay,
of
no,
Ellis.
maybe not. Not 1 second, okay. Up we come.
Hold on.
What's
We're
your
doing the
name?
same now.
Okay, Jaden, you require 74.
He knows where he's going. 56, double 20. Oh, that's a good effort. That's a very good effort. He throws a lovely dart. I think we should send one of them down and let one of them play against Jaden. That's a good dart.
Plenty of dartboard to use for one of the most unorthodox ways you'll ever see a semi-final being won.
And that is good.
It's a nervy game, a nervy encounter. He is the favourite now to go on and win it, and he's trying to get... Struggle today with a bit of nerves. And that extra moment, that little bit of pause, that little bit...
Second dart.
Calm down a little bit, just relax into the game.
Oh, hold on. Yay! We have the first one from an influencer.
One of them things either loves or hates in a darts time. And he loves it! But that is...
It's Angry Jim!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. So it looks like we're going to have a vintage Friday, just like we had on Thursday in this Group B, because we have liftoff and in some style. Andy Bolton averaging 102.21 to dispatch Peter Jakes by 4 legs, one who himself averaged 92. Second up in the bottom 2 of the group going into tonight's session, Thomas Banks, the 18-year-old from Hertfordshire, weekly winner in the previous series, but is he going to do so again? He is going to have to do it the hard way. Him and Romeo Gerbavac, the bottom 2 players in the group, going into Friday evening session. But these two perhaps gave us the game of the day yesterday when they met in match 9 of 10. Romeo running out a 4-1 winner, both players averaging 98.
Game on!
But it was the superior finishing of the Croat which prevailed in the end. In fact, it was the finishing that was the irking issue,
16.
the big problem for Thomas Banks on Thursday. He was the only player out of the 5 who didn't have double stats in excess of 40%.
100.
And that first game he played, it didn't set him off on the right path.
131.
He actually had more darts at double than anybody, having 34, but only hitting 9.
135.
This already has the feeling of a massive game, because they're both on 2 points.
180.
And I feel as if only one of these guys can qualify, because I expect
134. Thomas, you require 130.
2 of the current top 3 to make it.
That first start going low for Thomas was
57.
not
Romeo
ideal at
require
all.
132.
He had nothing really to go at with dart 2. 1-3-2 for Gerbavac is off now because he goes offline on the 25.
43. Thomas
So
require
Banks has an
73.
opportunity to take out the opening leg on throw. 20 and pull. The treble leads double 5.
68.
Inside it goes.
Romeo require
And
89.
Gerbavac has an outside opportunity. It may just be a dart at the bullseye.
Can he hit it?
64.
He nearly did.
Thomas require 5.
Well, that's as close as you can get without hitting it.
3.
But Banks is missing
Romeo
a lot
require
of darts
25.
at double in this opening leg.
Game start on the first leg. Romeo
You can see
Gerbavac.
how much that meant to Romeo to get off the mark in what he has to look at as a
Second
massive
leg,
match
it's Romeo to throw
to
first.
get off on the
Game
right
on.
foot tonight. Because last night he was outdone by a brilliant finishing Martin Turner in his first game.
100.
After that, he was done by a brilliant Peter Jakes.
41.
And then against Andy Bolton, he did nothing wrong. It was pretty much a carbon copy of what Andy's just done in the first match tonight.
Well, a matter of fact, Romeo averaged in excess of 90 in every single game he played yesterday evening.
180.
But timing just fell against him at points. But he's right on time, right on cue here. Took the first leg against the throw
57.
after Thomas missed a visit's worth of opportunities to get it done. And now pushing on throw in leg 2.
$50. $140.
This is the way tonight's action's going to go. It's not going to last long. That leaves 114.
81.
Not entirely sure why he switched upstairs.
180. Romeo required 90.
Well, all of a sudden, from a position of comfort, this is fairly precarious.
Game shot and the second
What a
leg.
recovery
Romeo
that is.
Gerbavac.
I question him going bullseye first, but my word. After a bad first start,
Third leg,
he's just
it's
said,
Thomas
all
to
right, I'll
throw
hit it in 2
first.
then.
Game on.
That's exceptional from Romeo.
Thomas must be feeling that
57.
sinking emotion right now. He knew that a big start, a positive start, was of the utmost importance. And so far, it must feel like a repeat of yesterday evening's opener
45.
against Andy Bolton, where he had opportunities, he had chances, he squandered them left, right and centre, and his opponent
98.
took full advantage.
The 3 players that have
125.
found their way through to Saturday already, what do they all have in common? Alex Spellman,
134.
Brian Roman, and Dean Finn. They all played Group A. Andy Bolton is in a brilliant position
180.
to join that group. Romeo Gerbavac played in Group A as well.
100. Romeo
The
required
Group A players
151.
could have a massive say who gets the weekly title.
And remember, a maximum of 5 from 6 from a Group A campaign can make it through, and there is a high possibility that's the
119.
case.
Thomas Yuko,
Gerbavac
112.
there, leaving himself on double 16 after 12. He's forced Banks to take out this 112, but he's unable to do so.
100.
He's left
Romeo
himself on a
required
double,
32.
but he may not get a go at it. And this is for the double breaker throw.
$24.
Wow.
Thomas, you required 12.
Didn't expect him to miss that.
Game shot
And
in
he
the
pays
third
the
leg.
penalty.
Thomas Banks.
Banks is on the board. Banks is back in business.
Fourth leg.
And
it's
this game
Romeo
is back
throw
to
first.
2-1.
Game on.
However, the issue that the Bulldog has is he needs to find a break at some point. And when Romeo is playing to this standard and to this level,
139.
that may well be a hard thing to do.
59.
I've been having a little think about Romeo's career path moving forward.
94.
I think he could be a big thing for Croatian darts in the next 5 years. He's got the drive. He's got the work ethic. The talent
60.
is there. And I think there is an open goal of a walk-on song that he must use
135.
if he makes it into the big time. It's called Rome by the B-52s.
180. Romeo require 133.
But that's for another day. 133s are for now. And even with that maximum for Banks,
52 left.
he is possibly going to be shut out of this leg.
101.
Well, you mentioned music and different days. Well, both players want to channel the inner East 17 of them and
100.
stay another
Romeo
day
require
for
32.
Saturday. And for the second consecutive leg, Gerbavac has left himself a double after 12. It's a
Game start in
14
the fourth
darter, it's a
leg.
3-1
Romeo
lead.
Gerbavac.
And the Croat is beginning to make a move. And because of that defeat for Peter Jakes in the
Fifth
opening
leg,
game of
Thomas
the
to
evening
throw
session,
first.
it really
Game
did
on.
open things up for the winner of this game. Romeo would get the jump of Peter if he wins this
66.
match. He'd move up to third.
He would. It's based on what's happened in this game right now
140.
and the gap that Romeo has created. If he gets a few wins tonight by a distance,
57.
I'm sure he's going to make it to Saturday night on debut. And I'm not sure how motivated he is at the fact that someone who I'm sure he knows
59.
from Germany has had a rather good day. What I can tell you is that weekly winner from this
81.
series from Germany, Kai Gotthard, who had a very emotional time of it here a few weeks back, he's actually had an even bigger day today.
130.
He has won the PDC Europe Super League in Germany, and he's going to Alexandra Palace. So Kai Gotthard is coming back to Champions Week, and he'll be back in England at Christmas
170.
to play in the biggest tournament in the world. Many congratulations to Kai. And in a matter of
105.
seconds, we might be saying the same thing to Romeo.
And with Peter Jakes playing first and third this evening, this is a
40.
big win in more
Romeo
ways than
requires
one for Romeo
65.
Gerbavac, because he can apply surmountable pressure on the Yorkshireman. For the match, double top.
Game shot and the
What
match.
a performance.
Romeo
What a
Gerbavac.
start for Romeo Gerbavac. An average of 97.29. He continues his trend of averaging in excess of 90 in every single game he has played in this Group B. He has got the beating of Thomas Banks by 4 legs to 1, just like he did last night. 40% on the doubles, pretty much what he's been doing throughout the course of this group. As for Thomas Banks, he had opportunities early on, but then he was suppressed by the brilliance of the Croatian. Coming up after the break, we see Peter Jakes for the second time this evening. He needs a win, and he needs it now. He takes on Martin Turner, who begins the evening with 6 points on the board. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. What a night we've seen so far here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Before the break, Romeo Gerbavac got the better of Thomas Banks by 4 legs to 1. That's moved him on to 4 points and put that man in your picture there, Peter Jakes, in a spot of bother. He won his first 2 games in this Group B, but has lost his last 3. And his back now is firmly against the wall as he takes on Martin Turner, who is looking to progress through to a first finals night in his Super Series career this evening. We've already seen the Terrier once tonight, the 51-year-old Peter Jakes from Denby Dell, former weekly winner. But for Martin Turner, a first appearance of the evening. The 55-year-old from York, the Mutt's Nuts, making his 7th appearance here and looking for a first Saturday night berth.
Is Martin Turner playing for Latvia tonight? Yes, I know it's York City colours. It's just a play on colours because they're actually very similar to Latvia colours as well.
First leg, it's Peter to throw first. Game on.
He is very well travelled now, is Martin. He's done a lot of travelling in the WDF circuit over the last couple of years. Probably seen things that he thought he would never see.
140.
Well, we saw things from Martin last night that we haven't seen from him before. The finishing. It was deadly.
45.
At times. Because after game 2 that he had last night, it did come down a peg.
100.
But Peter Jakes has been pegged back into this quagmire, hasn't he, of qualification.
Giggity.
100.
I knew that was going to happen.
Shouldn't have said it.
41.
But this is a really difficult situation for Peter now, isn't it?
180.
Think about the level that we've seen in the first 2 games. If you're Martin Turner coming into game 1, what are you thinking based on the games you've seen? Oh, okay.
60.
So this is how well I'm going to have to play, is it? And now Jakes, who's got the role reversal schedule from last night,
60.
he actually finishes
160.
in game 8. If he doesn't get a move on, he might not set a total that has enough points next to it.
100. Martin Yukai, 116.
We saw Martin Turner take out a 120 yesterday, but we're not going to see him take out a 116 here to get the breaker throwing to take out leg 1.
Peter
And so
Yukai,
Jakes
60.
back for 60 to get himself on the board. You feel like this is a must-win game for him.
40.
And he is not
Martin
off to the
Yukai,
perfect start.
40.
He could find himself behind.
20.
But he isn't.
Peter, you require 20.
That is a reprieve. And Peter
Game shot in the
pounces.
second leg, Peter Jakes.
Let us remind you of Peter's record in weeks like this. He has won a week.
Second leg, it's Martin to throw
And
first.
the other week
Game
he
on.
played, he made the final, where he lost to Raymond Smith. So he's protecting
140.
the kind of record that people really would want to protect. If he makes Saturday, based on what we've seen before,
85.
he's going to be in the championship match in the week. But to get through the people that we've got here this week, that would be a bit of a step up
140.
from previous times. That's all due respect to the people that he's played previously on Saturdays. Because he's played the likes of Wolfie and Thornton and Raymond Smith.
125.
I think Peter's very realistic about this week as well. He's got that proud record which he wants to protect, but he also knows he hasn't been playing as much as he
100.
has done in recent times, and this is almost a litmus test for him to a certain extent, kind of see where the game's at and to see how competitive really he is against some of the
60.
best about to
Martin
come.
Yukai,
Because when you look at this
121.
list, Bolton, Banks both playing in the Global Championship come December. That's just on the outside of the treble 13. It clipped the wire the wrong way. But what he is going to do, Martin Turner, is leave
91.
himself on a double after 12 to square this
Sorry, 81.
Match up at 1 apiece.
He may not have been playing as regularly as usual,
134.
but last
Martin
night's
Uguay,
first two
40.
matches suggested that Peter was still pretty sharp.
Game shot in the
Martin
second
finds
leg.
double
Martin
10, and
Turner.
I think he needed to hit that. Otherwise, he would have
Third
felt
leg
a
is
little
Peter
bit
to
dodgy
throw
on the outer ring
first.
at the start of
Game
tonight's
on.
show. Towards the end, Peter did tail off. And I think that was more of a sign
96.
than the sharpness. It was more about the engine of putting consecutive games together.
100.
I suppose the big question mark over Martin Turner is how is he going to respond on night 2? As good as night 1 was, can he keep up those levels?
180.
The indications are that Peter Jakes will, and he was unlucky in that opening match that he ran into Andy Bolton at the peak of his
96.
powers, averaging in excess of 102 against him.
Somebody's cooking with gas now. 5 treble 20s in the last 6 darts for Peter.
58. Peter Uguay, 85.
Just set it up.
53.
That'll do very nicely. And we showed the leg breakdown of that first game between Jakes and Bolton. How many times did they leave something
93.
small after
Peter
12
Uguay,
darts?
32.
It felt like almost every leg.
That's as close as you can get without finding the bed. Has to shuffle across.
No score.
Well, those were 3 very
Martin Uguay,
well thrown
154.
darts, but neither could find a way through. And so Martin Turner has an outside opportunity, but the chance on the 154 came and went with dart 1.
100.
He's left himself
Peter
on a
Uguay,
single to double
32.
if there is a return, if there's 3 more mistakes for Peter Jakes.
It's the same first dart. It's
No
happened
score.
again.
Martin Uguay,
I promise you
54.
that was not a replay. That happened again. And this time, Turner
Game
can
shot in the third
pounce.
leg. Martin Turner.
Peter Jakes will feel sick about how that leg panned out.
Fourth leg, it's Martin to throw first. Game on.
I almost feel sick for Peter. I mean, Martin's just done his job there. He's chipped away. He's got a chance. He's
83.
taken it. But considering the things that happened in that leg, the 6 darts missed at double 16, all very well thrown. They are tough to take, those legs.
140.
And Peter Jakes may begin to get the feeling that tonight may just not be
45.
his night. He got hit by a ton plus average in match 1. He's playing well again here. 6 darts, close to the wire, don't go, and your opponent punishes you and gets the break.
Well, here's the problem he's got. This is his
140.
second game, and he's in trouble in this one. He has to wait until game 6 to play Gerbavac, and we know what form he's in.
58.
By the time he plays Thomas Banks in game 8, they might both be out.
And this is the downside
100.
to having the early shift, playing 2 of the first 3. Because you can very quickly find yourself in trouble and very quickly find yourself
100.
sinking in the
Peter Uguay,
quicksand.
121.
And what do you do when you're in quicksand? Stay very still.
89.
Well, he's done it again. He's left a double after 12.
And he's left double 16 again. As if to say, all right, I didn't get you last time, I get you this time instead.
100. Peter Uguay, 32.
That's my best Yorkshire accent. It was terrible. Or should I say, it was terrible. That was
Game shot in the
terrible.
fourth leg. Peter Jakes.
Well, thanks to Chris Murphy for his guest analysis of that previous leg. We're level at 2-2.
Fifth leg, it's Peter to throw
It's
first.
a Yorkshire derby, what do
Game
you
on.
expect?
Oh, he needs a bit of Paul Hinks.
Super Darts at the Live Lounge.
83. $59.
This game level at 2-2, and you get the sense that this best of 3 exchange is massive for Peter Jakes.
137.
I have to say so. We talked about the importance of the game in hand earlier. Martin has that.
100.
And it will be against Gerbavac in game 9. He's got Bolton in game 7. And he's got Banks in game 5.
95.
The only person I'm feeling 100% confident about right now is Bolton. Sitting atop the table on 8 points.
57.
Best leg difference. He's played the best darts in the group. Pick 2 names from 4. It's as simple as that.
134.
Well, this has been a poor leg for Peter because he's left himself just a 2-darter after a dozen. But he's
100.
continually
Peter required 52.
putting in high-quality legs, which is difficult for his opponents to chase and catch.
Game
He's
start on the
starting to
fifth
put it
leg,
together.
Peter Jakes.
The disappointment of that earlier leg on double 16. He's able to
Sixth
forget
leg,
it
it's
and move
Martin
on.
to throw first.
He's gone
Game
from
on.
2-1 down, where he could have been 2-1 up, to 3-2 up.
80.
Romeo Gerbavac is going to be feeling dizzy. Started in 4th. He went to 3rd. If Peter wins this, he goes back to 4th. And Martin Turner,
100.
he will be in quicksand because he will be standing very still in 2nd position, even if he loses this match.
123.
Well, so far tonight, it's felt like a tug of war between Peter Jakes and Romeo Gerbavac as to who is going to occupy that final qualification position. However, if Peter can win this game and Romeo can get a win
54.
against Andy Bolton in the next match, well, suddenly it feels like a 3-horse race for 2 spots.
140.
Don't get me started on that next game. That could produce ridiculous levels.
Well, Martin Turner looking to seal a fight back, and if he does, he'll be level with Bolton on 8 points.
24. Martin, you got
And
158.
in all likelihood, this is a game that's going to see all 7 legs played in it. He's not going to take out the 158,
98.
but he's going to do the next best job. He himself has left himself on a 2-darter after 12, and Jakes can only hit big,
180.
hit maximums, and
Martin,
hope.
you got 60.
Slide it in over the top.
50.
Now, this is a chance to win the match,
143.
albeit a very difficult one. But he had some big hits last night. Another one?
111.
Double 16 denies him
Martin,
the
you
win.
required 10.
For now.
And so this has to go quite simply for Martin Turner.
Game shot in the 6th leg.
It does,
Martin
and we
Turner.
go all the way. The last leg decider of the evening between these 2 Yorkshire
7th and final
pals.
leg, it's Peter to
This
throw
game went all
first.
the way
Game
last
on.
night. Martin Turner 1 in 7. Peter Jakes with the darts in this one, looking to do what Martin did yesterday. Hold in the last.
134.
And that 2-treble turn at the very beginning of the leg is going to help him on his way.
135.
This is a great fixture. 2 people who know each other really well. Playing for the pride of themselves and for their county.
80.
And this signifies just how much pride these Yorkshire dart players have.
100.
Their battle last night was a brilliant one. The game where Peter Jakes had that 164 checkout. But it wasn't good enough because Turner won by 4 legs to 3.
100.
If Peter doesn't turn it around and get 4-3 here, the best he can do is 8 points. And that is questionable
99.
because he's still got 2 really hard games to go. That is
140.
sensational.
167.
But this would be better than that.
But the treble 19 goes a-begging.
99.
Peter Jakes
You
can
require
breathe a sigh of
47.
relief. But now this is his opportunity to win the match. 7 for tops.
27.
But 2 match
Martin
starts
requires
have come and
68.
gone. And his qualification hopes could severely be derailed if Martin Turner could
48.
find double 10,
Peter
but
required
he is
20.
unable to provide the goods.
They've both had a shot at 10s for the match.
Game
5s
shot.
give
And
Peter the
match,
win.
Peter Jakes.
It was double 5 that gave Martin the chance to take the contest into his 7th and final leg. That might be the last game they play against each other this week, because they might be going separate ways over the next few hours or so. But Peter Jakes hangs on with some great scoring in that one. You see 5-ton 40-plus scores, the 2 maximums as well. He was the better shooter on the inner ring. On the outer ring, it was a bit of a toss-up. So Jakes goes back to 3rd position on 6 points. And when we come back, you do not want to miss possibly the last battle of the week between Gerbavac and Bolton. They are in prime condition right now.
Welcome back to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Live Lounge.
And he was right.
Van Velzen's had opportunity, but it's Steve West. That takes his opportunity.
Does he get one this time? The jury's out. Is the double in? Listen to that! And Jimmy Van Ski is still alive! He's made it! And Marvin Van Velzen!
Jimmy Van Ski probably felt he's already been out already tonight. Surely not again. Oh, Jimmy! It's a wry smile. What a finish! What a man! What a response!
Of the 5-time weekly champion. It's Jimmy Van Ski who makes the final! Are we, Jimmy? You bet we are! One leg to see who the champ is. Yes, he can! Marvin is the man!
Marvin Van Velzen!
That's Marvin Van Velzen, but he isn't going to be the champion in Modus Super Series 9 because his title defence came to a shuddering halt by Scott Taylor last weekend. Our 4th game of the night sees Andy Bolton and Romeo Gerbavac go toe-to-toe. Before the break, we saw Peter Jakes win the Yorkshire Derby against Martin Turner 4-3, averaging in excess of 90. That seems to be the trend for this group. But Andy Bolton went one step beyond the average 102.21 in his 4-1 success against Peter Jakes. And he takes on Romeo Gerbavac, who provided the other real good performance of the night, 97.29 to
First leg,
beat Thomas Banks by the same scoreline.
Game
the
on.
two standout players so far this evening, locking horns in our 4th game of the night. And if they play anything like they did in their opener, strap yourselves in, because
16.
this could well be a corker.
Isn't it funny how the course of a week changes your thinking about a fixture? Just go back to the year that Leicester City won the Premier League. And just imagine that at the start of that season, I wonder if that game with Man City and Leicester's going to be decent.
135.
Okay, I'd rather watch Liverpool against Manchester United. Yeah, things can change when you get to the later part of a campaign. Now, we look at this fixture different than we
59.
did on Monday morning. Because you may have looked at Gerbavac versus Bolton and said, yeah, it's kind of interesting.
96.
Now, it almost looks like the fixture of the week because of the way they're playing right now and where they're sitting.
Well, that was a Premier League season where Leicester City, West Ham United
60.
and Southampton all finished in the top 7 places of the league. Stoke City finished in the top half that year.
And where are they now?
100.
They're floating in mid-table championship obscurity. And they did beat Portsmouth 6-1.
58.
How have you
Romeo
not been on
require
Mastermind?
110.
Gerbavac to take out the opening leg. Treble 18. We'll give it down at double 18.
58.
And of course, for Bolton, because Thomas Banks is on 2 points, any win here will progress him into the finals tomorrow night. You will dot the I's and cross the T's for the X Factor.
100. Romeo require 52.
Finishing was good in his first game.
Game shot in the first leg.
And that
Romeo
department was
Gerbavac.
rather healthy. 40% in his first match against Banks.
Second leg is Andy to throw first.
And we already know,
Game
because
on.
we've spoken about it, that is something that can be maintained for an entire evening.
And he's just taking his time there ahead of the second leg getting underway.
$59. $100.
Me and Paul Nicholson both have a very confused look on our faces as we've looked at one another as to what might be happening out there.
97.
I'm just taking it in. But one thing you might not be able to feel through your smart screens is that there's an atmosphere in this place all of a sudden.
100.
There's a tension about this place. And I'm not really sure why.
And it's quite literally within the space of a couple of seconds just
85.
flicked a fuse. Now, our commentary box is to the top of the arena in a soundproof gantry where we've got a window to the action.
59.
And we're just having a look outside the window. And I don't know how, and I don't know what it is, but something's just felt different over the last couple of minutes.
Absolutely right.
100.
If we do get dramatic fixtures, it's usually on a Friday night or a Friday afternoon because everybody wants to make Saturday.
60.
When there's very
Andy, you
few
require
fixtures left.
160.
Everybody gets a bit edgy. Everything is amplified. The tiniest little noise.
100.
That's a good visit. Why am I starting to get the feeling that this might not be the last time they play each other this week?
27. Andy, you require
I've had a
60.
little feeling in my water.
And that might well be part of the reason why the tension's kicking in. They may well be playing or paying the ultimate respect to one another.
40.
Bolton's missed a
Romeo
couple of
require
darts to make it
155.
2-0. And this would hurt if this 1-5-5 went.
It was a great first leg from Romeo, but he has
65. Andy
slowed
require
down
20.
since the end of leg 1.
Game shot in the second
are
leg.
level.
Andy Bolton.
He's definitely not happy about something at the minute.
Third leg, it's Romeo to throw first. Game on.
Level we are, 1-1.
You ever notice that tendency that
96.
dart players seem to have? In fact, it's sports people. When somebody does something, they tend to do this almost involuntary head
59.
movement where they point towards the person in question by just flicking their head towards them. I may be wrong,
140.
but I just wonder if Andy did it recently. I wonder if something's happened either during the practice darts or at the start of this match that has got Andy a bit more fired up.
59.
Or maybe he's just looking at this fixture as if to say, if I win this, I'm safe. I don't want any more trouble in this group.
140.
And actually that will add a bit more tension, particularly the player who's throwing for that particular one. It does add a bit more to the psyche. And sometimes you can be
100.
found
Romeo require
guilty of trying
125.
too hard in these scenarios. And Gerbavac here has got 6 darts on 1-2-5 to re-establish an advantage in this contest.
93. 96. Romeo, you require 32.
This game has got me puzzled. Romeo
Game
is
shot in the
leading
third
it with
leg.
that 14
Romeo
darter.
Gerbavac.
To date, this is his worst performance in this
Fourth
group,
leg is Andy
and
to
he's
throw
leading.
first. Game on.
Suddenly feeling as if, when we've heaped lavish praise upon this group and the standard and the quality of this group,
100.
but it does feel like we're beginning to reach a bit of a crossroads point. It does feel like the standard has dipped a little bit. It's felt like tension really is beginning to creep in.
What did I say to you
100.
at around 1:05 this afternoon about this group?
You said the standard would drop tonight.
I said it would go down a little bit because there would be some key misses
97.
in key fixtures. If we're being honest, the standard to this point
99.
hasn't really dropped at all, but there's still 7 matches to go. After what's happened this afternoon in that climactic game with Jensen Walker and Brian Roman, we might have to get a bigger stage.
Good luck asking management for that. But what's interesting for Andy is sometimes he
140.
might take his time or take a little bit longer than some to approach the game. But once he's there, he's there. You don't often see him step back as soon as he gets to the board. And that's happened a couple of times already in this
57.
contest.
Andy, you require 164.
Might use a switch here.
100.
Don't listen to me. What a dart that is. His ability to loft that dart over the top is... it's exceptional.
84. Andy,
Not
you
many
require
dart
64.
players can do that. But Andy can.
He's got plenty of reserves in the locker. This for 2-2. 1 dart in his hand, a double 16.
Game
It's
shot in the
all
fourth
Bolton
leg.
needs.
Andy Bolton.
And we have a level game. Gerbavac 2, Bolton 2. And the X Factor is a couple of
Fifth
legs
leg is
away
Romeo
for
to throw
booking his
first.
tickets
Game on.
into tomorrow night's final.
58.
I don't know if you noticed what Andy's just done. As soon as Romeo has finished his visit and he's on the walk to retrieve the darts from the board, that is when Andy walks into the exclusion
100.
zone. In fact, they're both doing it right now. That is not the case for every dart player that comes here, or indeed dart players at the top level on big stages. Not everybody follows the whole exclusion zone thing. And I think it's a fascinating rule,
140.
or should I say, a guideline in this sport. I think it should be enforced a bit more.
99.
Well, in PDC major events and on PDC stage events, you have a referee, and then you have a second referee who stands to the side of the stage. And one of the jobs of that second referee is to have a look at encroachments into the exclusion zone.
140.
And there are certain players who tend to push it a little bit. They shall remain nameless. He's got a shot at the bull for the 164.
139.
Does Andy get a shot at the bull as well to break Romeo's throw? To put himself within one leg of getting to Saturday for an 8th time in a row.
96.
Both players have
Romeo,
missed the
you
dart at the
require
bullseye
25.
to go 3-2 up in this contest. And it's Gerbavac who is back. He gets first dibs
Game
at a
start in
second
the fifth leg.
opportunity.
Romeo
And he
Gerbavac.
makes no mistake on double 8. A 14 darter puts the Croatian
Sixth leg
3-2
is
to the
Andy
good.
throw first. Game up.
Bolton with the darts to stay in this contest.
It almost feels like the tension has fallen away a little bit over the last couple of legs. And as a result of that,
99.
the averages have climbed. And the doubles have been really good. 3 from 5 for Romeo. 2 from 5 for Bolton. Maybe Andy's just trying to take the zip out of the game because Romeo is very swift. Let's face it, he's got plenty of experience playing him this week. This is their 5th game.
180.
And he is 3-1 down for the week.
A bit of a wriggle from Andy Bolton. He's looking to get a wriggle on here. And sometimes we'll see Andy
59.
do that after a big score, just to almost inject a little bit of energy within himself, just to get the heart pumping, to get the body moving.
$58.
Gerbavac needs to use the 18s here. Almost to full effect.
And you require 164.
Just falls short of the finish.
Well, this for last leg decided. Doesn't have to go for the 164, but he might. He did,
139.
and almost found.
Say what you like, but that was a great attempt.
98. And you require 25.
Andy can't afford to miss any darts here. Wow. Only just gets the 3. Double 4.
21.
Now he runs the risk
Romeo, you require
of
76.
losing this game, and this 76 checkout would put Romeo in the top 2.
How things had changed and how things could change. This double 18 for Romeo Gerbavac
58.
to put him on to 6 points, and
And you
all of the
require
top 4
4.
would have been within a couple of points of one another. Bolton back for another opportunity to take us all the way, and he's looking at the madhouse.
2.
Not this time.
Romeo, you require 18.
to get to 6 points and to keep Andy at 8.
Game start and the match. Romeo Gerbavac.
We have got some race on our hands on this Friday night. Just when it looked like it was going to be academic that Andy Bolton was going to make it through, Romeo Gerbavac has put a spanner in those particular works. Another game where he's averaged in excess of 90. He's played 6 games in this Group B and he has averaged 90 or more in every single one of them. That's the tail of the tape from our 4th game of the evening session. When we return, it's a second look at Thomas Banks, who is effectively now in last chance saloon. He takes on Martin Turner, and we're going to be watching that on the other side of these short break messages. Welcome back to the stunning Modus Live Lounge in Portsmouth. We've had a Group B which has left us in a bit of a spin at times. And our 5th game of the evening session could well spell the end of the road for Thomas Banks. If he loses this game, he'll be locked on 2 points. And he'll have a long way back because the maximum he'll be able to get to is 6. There's 3 players already on that mark, including Romeo Gerbavac, who picked up his 2nd win of the night. He got the better of Andy Bolton by 4 legs to 2. For Thomas, he takes on Martin Turner.
First leg, it's Martin to
And
throw
if you actually
first.
look at
Game
both
on.
players' opening performances, they both lost their first game, but both played in and around a similar level. And for Thomas, he just needs to play with a bit of freedom
100.
and just let it loose in this game. He's in last chance saloon.
Definitely is now.
60.
He's got 3 games left and you think, surely he can still get to 8 points and get through. But here's the thing. If he does
58.
lose this game, Gerbavac has got to play Turner later. And if we look at their current points totals,
140.
one player is guaranteed to get to 8 points from that one. And Turner would already
100.
have 8 points if he wins this game. And then if you look at Turner versus Bolton,
100.
they're both above him. It's not a good situation at all.
And of course, Gerbavac and Jakes are still going to play later on this evening as well.
Correct.
140.
That's going to be the next match. And Romeo really is on a heater at the minute. He's playing a very hot hand.
120. Martin, you got 103.
Okay. Suits you, sir. We haven't had a ton plus checkout so far tonight.
Game
Scrub
start in the
that,
first leg.
because Martin Turner has taken the 103. The first moment of brilliance, and it goes to the Butts Nuts.
Thomas to throw first.
And Thomas
Game
Banks
on.
now really is edging ever closer towards that trap door.
58.
What other sport would you hear somebody say that about that finish?
100.
No other sport in the world. It
100.
seems to be happening that the weekly champion from the previous series is not going to get another crack at Champions Week. In fact, not even a crack
60.
at Saturday night. His leg difference is adrift by 5 from the next person, which is
45.
Peter Jakes. And we did say at the start of this campaign that Thomas Banks as the outsider looked
59.
ridiculous. But everybody in this group, to their credit, they have put Thomas under so much pressure since he missed a few doubles in his first match yesterday. They've seen him
85.
struggle just the tiniest bit, and they have pounced on him.
$58.
Well, Turner unable to apply pressure there, and so Banks has got 6 darts here to level this contest up at 1-1, and that first dart's perfect for him.
85.
But he's unable to utilise it. It hasn't felt like it's got going whatsoever this evening for Thomas, for one reason or another.
44. Thomas Yukai, 128.
Starting to sound like a Blondie song there. One way or another, I'm going to get you.
60.
You know what I mean.
Yes, I've sung it on karaoke before.
Oh, well, that's that ruined.
I can show you again at the
Please don't.
party.
No.
100. Thomas
Veto.
Yukai, 68.
For leg 2, for parity, bullseye, just below.
35. Martin Yukai, 80.
It's all about the 20s. And the 10.
Game shot in the second
And that
leg.
is
Martin
2-0.
Turner.
Second time that Martin Turner has found a key double 5 tonight.
Third leg, it's Martin to throw first. Game on.
Thomas having a word of himself. He is disgusted with what's happening so far this evening. And I suppose ever since that weekly win, ever since winning that Vault Finals,
140.
the expectations that he sets of himself and the expectations of others that heaped upon him have changed so
137.
dramatically over the last 4 or 5 months.
It's not just the expectations of everybody else. It's the expectations
140.
from himself. When you win, you want to win again.
136.
But in this sport, unless you are a ridiculous generational colossus,
60.
you lose more than you win. And you have to be able to handle that. I heard it at the start of my
100.
career
Martin,
from
you
many
got 161.
people. You have to learn to lose before you learn to win.
One thing that has happened
65.
in this
Thomas
leg in
Yukai,
particular
128.
is Thomas has injected more pace in this game. Just the other side of the chub, but it would have given him a dart at the
41.
bull.
Martin Yukai, 96.
Turner's already taken out a 103. He's looking at a 96 for a 3-love lead. And it would put Thomas Banks to the point of no return.
56. Thomas Yukai, 87. Game shot in the fourth leg. Thomas
Well,
Banks.
there's only 2 players in the world that I know who do that. One of them is Thomas Banks, and the other one has been criticised for doing that
Fourth
on the
leg,
biggest
Thomas to throw
stages over the
first. Game
last
on.
3 or 4 months. A certain 2-time series champion who shall remain nameless.
96.
it's obviously the new way of doing it.
It shouldn't be, because it's wrong.
97.
Okay, let me retract before I start getting social media people getting in touch. I don't
58.
agree with it. Because double 15, whereas it is in a nice position for right-handers on the dartboard,
60.
odd numbered doubles are something you should avoid, because you split
96.
something, you want to have something else to go for. If he's got 87 there, and he hits the 15 with dart 2, you've got dart 3 sitting there in your hand, you can't do anything with it.
140.
Well, as quickly as Thomas Banks accrued the break to
57.
return this game to throws as quickly as it could be whittled away, because Martin Turner's got 6 on this 204 to establish a 3-1 lead, and he'd have the darts to move himself onto 8 points.
140.
And he'd have the darts to send Thomas Banks packing with a couple of games to
58.
a couple of
Martin
games to
requires
spare.
64.
Double 16.
32. Thomas Yukai, 136.
One thing I will say about Martin tonight, he's looking very cool up there. Because I assure you, he is feeling the pressure. They all
96. Martin Yukai, 32.
Well, it's one of those crossroads moments in a contest. Both players left on a double.
Game shot in the fourth leg.
Martin Turner takes his to open up a 2-leg lead when Thomas Banks was hopeful he was going to return for a level contest. And so the Mutt's Nuts here throws for 8 points to his name and to scratch the name of Thomas Banks from the list of contenders
97.
for tomorrow night.
If Martin is to win this game, would you be able to give
99.
me 3 names confidently from the 4 that will make it?
Fortunately for Peter Jakes, yes.
140.
Andy, Martin and Romeo, I would say.
I didn't expect you to have that answer, because I am not
128.
writing Peter off.
$60.
After what we've seen this afternoon at the end of Group C and towards the end of Group A this week, nothing would shock me anymore.
59.
Especially after watching that Fulham game on Monday. Nothing would shock me this
83.
week.
Try commentating on it. Lucky I've still got a voice come Friday.
55. Martin Yukai, 121.
For the match for 8 points and to send Thomas Banks out. Bullseye.
Yeah.
What does he do?
Surely he has to go for it.
96.
And he wasn't too far
Thomas Yukai,
away.
160.
He didn't have to go for it. He could have played the percentages, which would have given him 3 darts
140.
at a double.
Martin Yukai, 25.
Thomas Banks can only live in hope now. But
Game
that
shot
hope
and
has
the
been
match, Martin
extinguished as Martin Turner claims a 4-1 win, which will see the Bulldog depart at the end of the night's play. The Mutt's Nuts is really feeling it, isn't he, on this Friday evening? He's 1 win away from a place in Saturday's final. His first ever appearance in a finale here with the Super Series. 4-1 the score, 4 from 8 on his doubles. Turner the victor in that contest. When we return, we're going to have a half-time chat. We're going to get the oranges out, discuss all the action for the evening, and then we're going to watch Peter Jakes up against Romeo Gerbavac.
Please welcome to the stage, Angry Ginge and John Henderson!
And this is where... Hang on, wow. John about there for Nyland, but you do not expect him to get another visit in this match. John Henderson, double 10. And he pins it to take the opening. first for double 10. He's the one that left it, and he's the one that hits it for the opening leg.
They talked a good game, didn't they, beforehand? They've not quite delivered it as of yet. You still make Devon Peterson. This is a big favourite from this moment.
Oh, hello.
It's the big favourites.
Goes 2-0. But it doesn't.
The most successful player at the Super Series is the man who turns it around.
He's got it 1-0. Away days and Bradley Brooks. May see a double-double. Does go double 19. Wants another double 19. Great shot. What a shot. Very, very good.
The Bradley Brooks show.
No 180. Unfortunately, he did go for this one.
But this could go. This is a match opportunity.
And both their dots stand up, so will they block it? They will not. John Henderson to take himself. I think he was going for a 7 there, but it doesn't matter because he's going to hit it anyway. 47 kills.
Still an opportunity to showcase what he can do. And that's what Steve West can do. A double-double to get the job done. When you get those nerves, you just hang on to the dart a bit too long.
Steve West finds Fox for a breaker throw. Steve West at 20. Fox to the match. Darts for fun and Steve West.
Steve West and Darts for Fun!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where on this Friday evening we've seen Andy Bolton win one, lose one. He's still top of the table, but he's now joined on 8 points by Martin Turner, who before the break got the better of Thomas Banks by a 4-1 scoreline. That sees the Bulldog eliminated from proceedings. This is how the table looks going into the final half of the session. Bolton and Turner both on 8 points respectively. Romeo Gerbavac and Peter Jakes, they are both on 6, whilst Thomas Banks now on 2 points. He can win his last 2, but even if he does so, he's in a very, very bad state. Paul Nicholson is alongside me here in the studio. Let's begin by talking about Andy Bolton, because he got out the traps flying, 102 average. And if the truth be told, we thought maybe he's going to go through the card tonight. And then it was a completely contrasting performance in game 2.
Yeah, I think the fixture against Romeo is a difficult one for him because he lost all 3 fixtures in Group A. So even after beating Romeo with 104 average last night, sometimes when you put in that big performance at the start of a campaign, it's really hard to maintain that. And he just didn't look like the same person in Game 2. But he's still in the best position. Not through yet, but if he wins one of his last 2 matches, he'll be safe. But this is a really intriguing final quarter of Group B because we've got 4 players who can still qualify and they're only separated by 2 points.
Romeo Gerbavac, every single game he's played in this Group B, he's averaged at least 90 or more. He really has provided a high quality, sustainable quality throughout the course of this group.
Yeah, and the first 3 days of the week, he put in the 2 biggest averages of the week, 109 and a bit and 104 and a bit. And there were a couple of performances that were on the other side of the scale. In one game that he won, he averaged 70. And I said with Devon Peterson, I think it was on Tuesday, he needs to make sure that that gap between the bottom performance and the top performance is a lot tighter. What has he done in this group? It's almost as if he's taken that advice and he's put it straight into practice. The consistency has been there the last couple of nights, and he's definitely put himself in the fray.
Martin Turner also on 8 points. He is oh so close to a first finals night appearance here. I suppose for Martin, you just hope that he doesn't overthink that situation when we see him in a couple of games' time.
Yeah, so far so good. I think he's done a really good job. He's played some sensational stuff at times, and he's been really reliable. However, that hasn't been the problem before. The last time he was here in a Group C situation, it was the last 2 games where he came up short. So he's going to find himself in a very similar situation again. Can he get out of it this time against, and I'm not disrespectful to the last group that he was in, but this is a better quality group. If he can do it this time against these players, it will tell you what he's done prior to this week has definitely paid off.
Well, we're going to pause from the Super Series action for now because tomorrow afternoon we've got a very exciting Saturday's worth of darts, a double filling for you. The Women's ADC will bring you the Windmill Championship Tour Grand Finals. It kicks off at 12:30 p.m. on the Super Series YouTube channel. Dieter Hedman, who won the title last year, is looking for 2 in a row. She's the number 1 seed for the tournament. She'll take on Kim Holden in her opener. Gemma Hayter's had a superb comeback year in 2024. She's looking to lift a real big title come the end of it, whilst Fallon Sherrick will be the headline name that is in action. We have a look at those 4 quarterfinals there. It's very easy to say that a lot of people look at Gemma Hayter and Fallon Sherrick as perhaps the 2 key players, the 2 big players to beat.
Everybody will say that because that is a fact. They are the 2 best players in the draw. And other people are going to have to play well. Having said that, there are other players who have done really good things lately and their confidence will be high. So don't forget about Kirkwood. Don't forget about Steph Clark. And do not forget about Dieter Hedman, because I know that there's been a lot of press about Dieter recently for different reasons. Now she can go back to that stage which she loved last year, picking up a title here, and she will not want to let that title go, that's for sure.
And defending a title does have a different feel to it, but Dieter's been here so many times over the years. She's won in excess of 200 tournaments. I suppose she's probably the most appropriate person to sit in that chair and ask about what a title defence is like. So, but in her situation, this is just another tournament that she's won before. She wants to do it again.
Correct. I don't have the exact number to hand, but she's probably defended more titles than 99% of dart players in the history of the sport. Because we're talking about people like Trina Gulliver and Bo Greaves at the early stage of her career. Phil Taylor. We'll probably dig into that at some time tomorrow, but the fact remains, when it comes to defending titles, she's done it tens of times, if not about 100. So it's just another tournament that she wants to win more than once.
And of course, for Dieter and Fallon having finished in the top 2 of that order of merit come the end of the year, there's a possibility for them. They're going to be playing at the Global Championship at the end of December as well. So for them to go into that Global Championship by winning the Women's Championship Tour title, it put a target on their back when they get to that particular tournament, but it'd be such a great way to end the year and look forward to that particular tournament.
Most definitely. I think when you're going into something for the first time, if you've got a title that is leading up to it. Think about the Players' Championship finals at Minehead every late November. If you win that tournament, how confident are you going into the World Championship at Alexandra Palace? That is the only comparison that I really need to use. If you're the women's champion, come tomorrow afternoon, just how good are you going to feel going into the Global Championship if you're in it?
Right, weird situation here because you may have seen a bit earlier while both players warming up. They've now actually both departed. Maybe the call of nature has kicked in for the pair. And I suppose nervous tides will kick in for the rest of the evening session as well. It feels like Andy and Martin are a very safe suit, but for the 2 players about to play this one, actually Peter Jakes has made his way back onto the oche. This is the game, isn't it?
I think these games, this is where you're tested. They feel like semi-finals and finals. If you've been here before and you've been through these scenarios prior to this week, you feel like it's just another challenge that you can get through. If you're feeling confident, the likelihood is you're probably going to get through it. But if there are any frailties in a group like this, they will be exposed easily because everybody's playing well. Even Thomas Banks, who's not even going to qualify.
Right, they look like they're ready now, so we best get on with the action. So it's game 6 of our evening. It's Gerbavac up against Jakes. The winner will put themselves in a very good stead to make it through to Saturday night's final. We've got some big nights ahead of us here at the Live Lounge come the end of 2024, including that aforementioned ADC Global Championship, which will take place in the final 2 weeks of the year. Tickets for 3 of those nights are available, and if you want to be here, have a look at this.
And the ADC Global Championship takes place on December the 9th to December the 22nd here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. The WADC Winmore Championship Tour Finals kick off at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. That's exclusively live on the Super Series YouTube channel. Into the second half of this evening's action, and we kick off with a meeting between Romeo Gerbavac and Peter Jakes. In fact, this could well be the most important match that we have this evening. Prior to a dart being thrown, both players are on 6 points. The winner will move on to 8, 2 ahead of their opponent, with 1 match each remaining as far as their Group B campaign is concerned.
Just how crucial is it that Romeo now has the advantage of leg difference?
59.
He stands on +3. Jakes is on -3. So if we're being translucent right now,
83.
there's 6 legs between them and they have the same points. That, for me, makes this more important for Jakes.
Well, it means that a 4-1 win for Romeo Gerbavac and he'd be through, because Peter Jakes would be 9 legs behind Romeo with 1 game remaining, and the maximum you can make up is 8.
Correct.
81.
If Romeo knows that,
122.
he's not only more adept to this format than we will give him credit for, but he will see this as a monstrous opportunity to get rid of Jakes before he causes any more trouble.
134.
Because he can cause trouble. And he did for Gerbavac last night in a fabulous game of darts.
43. PG,
It was 4-2 for PJ. And he had a brilliant 138 in that match as well. Is he starting with a ton plus checkout?
83.
But it looked like for a second the 103 was a Yorkshire thing, because that was exactly what Martin Turner hit in the previous match.
140.
Jake's looking at double 10 for a 1-0 lead.
It's amazing how many dart players do that these days. You just think when they touch the darts, they're going to come straight out the board. Big dart.
15.
And a chance for Gerbavac to get the throw
82.
immediately.
1 dart for the break. And 1 dart at tops was all he needed. And that will hurt Peter Jakes, because he would have felt he was in business there, and Gerbavac has picked his pocket.
Game on.
Question. Did you think that Romeo was this good before a dart was thrown this week?
I knew he had quality, but I didn't know whether he had this much depth this consistently.
So that's a no.
60.
Or is it one of those typical Henry Deacon grey area answers?
Well, I think actually Romeo Gerbavac and where he is as a player was a bit of a grey area before we started this week, because he had a very good World Cup, but that was over a short sample, and obviously in a pairs scenario. We knew that he was a good player,
100.
but he hasn't been tested in front of the cameras at an elite level like he has done this week.
140.
You've maybe never explained something so eloquently. That is perfect. That's exactly how I feel about it.
140.
I knew he was good.
Require 100.
But I think even people that know him have realised just how good he is this week.
80.
But he's not 2-0 up. Not yet.
He's got time on his side, but the time may well be whittling away like sand in a timer.
177. Romeo,
Sound like you're about to introduce
20.
Days of Our Lives.
Well, time might be running out for Jakes. The days may be running out. Saturday may not come.
15.
But he has been given a reprieve, and
PT
Romeo
required
knows the
24.
error of his ways.
6. Basement.
21.
They're both missing doubles.
Romeo, you require 5.
Romeo should have won this leg before now. but he wins it
Game
anyway.
shot in the second leg. Romeo Gerbavac.
Look at that puff of the cheeks. That situation could be very different.
Third leg, it's Peter to throw first.
Well, he
Game
knows
on.
that despite being in full control of the leg, he almost let it slip. And in fact, he kind of got away with it there in the end.
78. Yeah.
I think Romeo was just checking to see if he was allowed to throw
57.
that third dart.
Now, we have had an incident here at the Super Series involved Danny Lalby, American player, and Paul Higgs, where Danny had dropped a dart to the floor, and because he was in the middle of the motion of throwing the dart,
140.
the referee, Paul Higgs, deemed that he was in a throwing motion, so that should count as a scoring dart.
100.
We have seen incidents like that before here at the Super Series. In fairness, we've seen pretty much everything under this roof.
125.
It's a dangerous thing to say that, you know, because now something else is going to happen that we've never seen before.
60.
Bounce out
PG
9 darter for
158.
bounce out double 12 for a 9 darter.
Please don't say that. That would be horrible. That'll do very nicely.
134.
He's going to go back to double 12. And he's going to have to hit it.
180. P2 guy 24.
Applying the pressure, but Jakes once again is left to double after
Game
12.
shot
It's a
the third
13
leg. Peter
darter.
Jakes.
It's back to 2-1, but he's going to have to find a break back at some point. Gerbavac still holds the cards. He
Fourth
still
leg,
holds
it's
the
Romeo to
aces.
throw first. Game on.
And now this leg for the Croat is all about consolidation.
140.
Romeo's starting to play better darts under pressure. He's had some commanding victories over the last few days.
140.
But I think he's made peace with how insanely brilliant the last couple of days have been
99.
in Group B. I've barely seen him shake his head since Game 2 on Monday morning.
180.
I think he's relishing the opportunity to improve against these seasoned players.
58.
But this game may well be swinging on a pinhead. When Gerbavac went 2-0 up, if the truth be told, we thought this could well be a runaway win. But Jakes
134.
showing true Yorkshire grit, hanging in there, carving out opportunities, but doing so with real high quality. It was a 13
100,
darter with the
PQ
previous leg.
47.
It could be an 11 here.
Game shot. In the
That
fourth
is a
leg.
12 darter
Peter
from
Jakes.
Peter Jakes. And he's now averaging over 103.
Fifth leg, it's Peter.
He
to
was
throw
2-0
first.
down.
Game on.
Not necessarily dead and buried, but I swear I could see somebody with a shovel and some dirt.
140.
That's just the road works out the back of here.
28.
Well, this is how Peter Jakes has got himself back in the contest. Romeo was doing okay. He was just going about his business in efficient enough manner. But
140.
Peter Jakes has upped the ante. And once again, after 6 starts, has left himself on 2-2-1. He's completely outscoring his opponent. In fact,
140.
up until that visit for Romeo, there was about a 20-point gap in terms of the averages.
$100.
He's under so much pressure.
139. Peter 121.
I can't believe how much this game has changed over the last 5 minutes. It's not as if Gerbavac has actually
41.
done a great deal less, if anything, in the last 2.5 legs. He can hit whatever he wants here.
162.
162 leaves that, and he might still get closed out and be 3-2 down.
Peter Jakes has motored on, but he's done so sneakily. Despite his quality.
60.
But he has missed 2 darts to move 3-2 up from 2-0 down.
32.
And Gerbavac can breathe a sigh of relief.
Does he hit it though?
16.
That's massive.
Peter, you require 20.
That reprieve that he's just had, that may be the only one he gets.
The biggest flashpoint of this match so far, and it could be the flashpoint that dictates
No
who
score.
goes through and who goes out.
Romeo requires 16.
Gerbavac gets another go for the break.
Game start in
And
the
this
fifth
time
leg.
he makes no
Romeo Gerbavac.
mistake on the double 8. He leads 3-2, but Peter Jakes has missed a handful of opportunities
Sixth leg, it's Romeo to throw first.
to
Game
put
on.
himself a leg away. And now it's Gerbavac who has the darts to move on to 8 points. And then it puts Peter Jakes in tungsten purgatory.
81.
That might not be the match. That might be possibly
60.
a qualification spot squandered.
Yes. The biggest issue, apart from this fixture, that Peter has
140.
is that his last opponent is Thomas Banks. He is inconsequential at this point.
140.
In your last game of a group like this, you want to play someone who you can take points from
85.
and rob leg difference from as well. Peter doesn't have that luxury. And I make it that if Jakes loses this leg,
70.
he may just be out with a game to spare.
He is teetering so close to the tungsten
65.
tightrope. Martin Turner also on 8 points. He takes on Andy Bolton next.
It's tight because Turner's got 2 games left.
76.
He
Romeo
could
Muka,
still lose
130.
4-0, 4-0. That's why Jakes is still alive. Double 8.
140.
That was a match dart.
Peter Muka, 155.
You can't take your eyes off this. He can't do it again. As it turns out,
99.
he didn't.
Romeo requires
Well,
16.
Peter Jakes says actually that he'll still be in no matter what the end result of this game is. But Romeo Gerbavac puts
Game start
himself
and the
on the
match.
cusp.
Romeo Gerbavac.
He's on the hill. He is almost there. A healthy win, backing up a healthy legs difference. You felt if he played as good as he did yesterday, he would muster more results. And that is exactly what's happening. And he's continued that incredible trend where he's played 7 matches and all 7 averages are in excess of 90. I'm just having a peer up through the window. He has a smile as he heads back down the stage, a puff of the cheeks as well. Gerbavac 4, Jakes 2, the Yorkshireman's hopes hanging by a thread. Coming up after the break, it's Martin Turner up against Andy Bolton.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's £100 down the drain already. Itching to hit the 180. He's gone for the maximum.
18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first start from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scape. Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable.
Get match darts to put his team into the final.
And
through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Number 4 for the title.
Game shot out the mat. Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out, that's what he is, Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Oh, Bosch.
Pie face is through. He gets
And he's absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that Pie face dominated throughout.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where full focus is on qualification through to tomorrow night's final. And we've had it confirmed during the advert break that Romeo Gerbavac, the Croatian, has qualified through to tomorrow night's final. A 4-2 win against Peter Jakes, because of the legs difference count back, is good enough for him to progress through. So the Croat on debut through to a finals night, and Croatia looking to become another nation that is represented at a Champions Week. Now, for Martin Turner and Andy Bolton, simply put, the winner progresses their way through to finals night tomorrow evening, and the loser of this game also stands a very good chance of making it through. But their hopes will be in a little bit more turmoil. For Bolton, he's been on the hill for quite a while.
First leg, it's Martin to throw first.
For Martin,
Game
he's recovered from an opening defeat to Peter Jakes, his fellow Yorkshireman, with a 4-1 win against Thomas Banks. And as far as Andy's concerned, we mentioned it during the studio chat we had after 5 matches. Andy got out the tracks flying, 102 average in match 1. But then
100.
a real tip of performance, a 21-point gap in terms of averages against Romeo Gerbavac in game 4
32
of the evening. It was a real compare and contrast in terms of performances.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one, but game on game, you expect people to have differences.
99.
Andy's no spring chicken. He's over 50. And there's always going to be fluctuations. He was phenomenal last night. But it was in one game that Bolton played where he struggled to get a hold of his opponent. And it just so happened that it was this one. Here's the situation as far as qualification is concerned. It does, at this stage, look like both of these guys are going to make it.
80.
The only thing that could change that is if somebody loses this game handsomely.
60.
The tighter this game is, the worse it is for Peter Jakes. It's that simple.
114 for Turner, the only player to have hit a ton plus checkout so far this evening. Just low on top to make it number 2. But this would be some way for the X Factor to light up a fuse, to light up the spark in this contest. But he's not going to take out the 146, and so Turner free in hand for 1-0 lead.
100. Martin, you required 20.
Hasn't been as sharp on his finishing tonight,
Game start the
but
first
he is right
leg,
there.
Martin Turner.
3 out of 13 in his first game. In a 4-3 loss
Leg, it's
to
Andy
Jakes.
to throw first. Game on.
And then 4 out of 8 against Thomas Banks. That was much better from Martin.
60.
Now, the situation here is if Andy Bolton gets to 2 legs in this match, he will qualify for the
100.
final. If Martin Turner gets to 3, he'll qualify. And obviously, if both do so, then we will know the situation in terms of qualification with 2.5 games to spare. It'll be Gerbavac, Turner and Bolton. Jakes and Banks will depart at the end of the
97.
evening.
Something else that will happen if it's to be Gerbavac,
100.
Turner and Bolton. 6 different countries in Saturday night's finals.
I can only remember one occasion where that's happened, and it was a week
100.
that involved Darryl Pilgrim. I can't remember the Pilgrim week, but I know Darryl Pilgrim was involved because I remember doing a pre-match interview with him,
57.
and I remember him saying, "Is this the first time we've had 6 different nations in a final?" I'm sure my memory is correct in saying that.
It's always a good thing to have 6 different nations represented, because there are so many stories possible.
87.
And if Martin is the only Englishman, he might get the support.
140. And you got 157.
Like you say, Henry, Martin's the only person with a ton plus finish tonight, 103.
60. Martin, you
How
got
about one more?
104.
So I'm going to check out. And he goes for the 16s of Dart 1. Some may argue this is easier than 103. Easy
James on the
peasy,
second
lemon
leg,
squeezy
Martin
for Martin Turner. He's 2-0 to the good. And he's now 1 leg away from his
Third leg is
first
Martin to
ever
go first.
appearance at a
Game
Super
on.
Series Saturday night. It's his 7th appearance. He's worked so hard. He's come so close on so many occasions.
55.
But his Mecca is within his reach.
If it is to be the case, and it looks pretty likely at this stage, wouldn't exactly be a bad
140.
time to make your first Saturday, considering where he's going in a few weeks. He's played his best darts in this building here over the last couple of days. That is irrefutable. And that pays homage to the way he's prepared for this week and the way he's trending going to Lakeside.
83.
This should be a warning to whoever he plays there.
I wish you'd call it by its actual name. The Lakeside!
177.
Never do that again.
Sorry, little Richard.
Oh, forget about apologising to me and the rest of the world for it, just to Richard.
180.
Well, that's beautiful for
Martin,
Bolton.
you've got
Turner looking at a
129.
1-2-9 for a 3-0 lead. Not to be on this occasion. Bolton back for 98 to get the break and then put him to
73.
within a leg of
And do
qualification.
you require 98?
You might stay there. 99.
89.
Great try.
Martin, you require 56.
This is to get to Saturday for the
James
very
on the
first
third leg,
time.
Martin Turner.
And finally, Martin Turner has done it.
Fourth leg is
7th
Andy to go
time is the
first.
charm.
Game on.
Well done, Martin. You deserve it.
Well, Bolton can still make it through in this game.
140.
Doesn't have to win the game to do it. Just needs to get to a couple of legs.
He could still qualify by not throwing a dart.
44.
Because if Thomas Banks was to get some legs off Peter Jakes next, it's the same sort of situation.
You feel like Bolton's name is in pencil.
139.
It just needs to be rubber stamped. You can lick the envelope, but don't send it.
60. $100. 50. 141. Andy, you require
Bolton.
122.
1-2-2. To get a leg back. To put him within a leg. Double 16 does
90.
not go. That would have been postage stamp.
180. Andy, you require 32.
Well, this has been some response from Bolton. Double 8. Phew, that's awkward. But he
Game shot
nudges
at the
it
fourth
through the
leg.
middle.
Andy Bolton. Fifth leg, it's Martin to throw first.
Oh, this
Game
is a rather
on.
big leg, isn't it? Turner wins.
100.
He gets the win, and he goes top of the table. And he wins it. And they're both through.
140.
What was that famous Martin Tyler phrase when Man City played QPR? No, not Aguero, but everyone's a winner. Because Manchester City won the league and QPR stayed up that day.
100.
I'm not sure how many people saw it like that. Especially if they were otherwise engaged across the country. Where are QPR now, by the way?
82.
They're the only team in the Championship this season to have lost to Portsmouth. As for Martin Turner, he's got the Minster men
67.
very much emblazoned across his shirt. York City, who a couple of years ago moved out of Bootham Crescent, one of the most famous grounds in non-league and lower league
100.
football. Now at the LNER Community Stadium. Purpose-built facility which harbours both the football and rugby side.
140.
But for Andy Bolton here, he's 179 points away from progressing through, but Turner's left himself on a two-darter to win this contest and to put the champagne on ice.
Can't do any more than a 139.
139. Martin, you require 94.
76 isn't found.
70.
So Bolton
Andy, you
now
require
has
40.
a shot to rubber stamp his Saturday invitation.
Game shot in the fifth leg.
Everyone
Andy
is a
Bolton.
winner. No one's won this game, but you can now send the envelope, send the invitation
is Andy
to
to
Andy
throw
Bolton.
first. Game
Put
on.
a stamp on it.
Well, it just goes to show, doesn't it,
140.
that this format can give you very strange occurrings. We don't have draws
99.
here at the Modus Super Series, but both players have won in this situation. The major loser is Peter Jakes, who's run, albeit after a long break
80.
of making finals in weekly campaigns, it's over.
That envelope, unfortunately, will have to go into the bin. There's that one with Thomas Banks.
29.
But he's going to be here tomorrow. He's going to be supporting Eleanor Cairns in the WADC Tour Finals. Live from 12:30 on the Super Series YouTube channel.
55.
That's our early kick-off tomorrow. The only early kick-off tomorrow.
180.
Oh, that was so simple looking and so effective. I have an inkling that neither player knows that they're through. They might even think they have to win this match to get their way through. A lot of these
59.
players in the practice room, they do have access to the live table, but they don't study it to the same degree as we do. They tend to focus more on points.
140. And you go 167.
Well, this for a last leg decider. Oh, this would be spectacular. This would be huge. But that is just offline. And so Martin Turner to move to the top of the table and become the first player up to 10 points.
Double 18.
35.
He's missed
And you
2.
acquired 25.
And you don't fancy he's going to come back in leg 6.
He's a man averaging just a shade under a ton of this contest, Andy Bolton.
Game
Double
shot in the
8
sixth leg.
to
Andy
take us
Bolton.
to leg 7.
And 3-3 was
Seventh and
always
final
going
leg
to
is
be
Martin to throw
the
first.
worst
Game
possible
on.
scenario for Jakes. If anything, before this one started, Jakes was thinking, whoever wins the first leg,
134.
win the next 3. It hasn't come to pass.
Well, for Peter, his perfect record
60.
looks like it's set to come to an end. For Martin, he has waited so long to have an opportunity to play in a Saturday night final, and he's going to get his chance. And it looks like he's going to do it for a win to move on to 10 points.
How good is this performance by Turner, though?
97.
Look at that. His personal best on the Super Series stage
100.
is 100.1. He's in personal best territory. If he finds that 87 in 2 darts,
140.
Looks like a personal
Martin,
best.
You acquire 87.
A PB as he breaks new ground here at the Super Series. Double 8
71.
would have been for a 12 darter. Would have been for a mighty big average.
he'll take the win.
40.
And he's got Romeo to
Martin,
play
you
in game
acquire
9.
16.
But this is to get rid of this one, to do the double over Bolton.
Double 4. 2 2s. In
Game
it
shot and the
goes.
match. Martin Turner.
And now Martin Turner can let out those pent-up emotions because the Mutts Nuts is heading through to Saturday night. For the very first time, he has waited 7 goes to have a go at the Saturday night setup. And look what it means to him. And what a contest it was. That sealed the deal for both. Bolton may have lost the match, but he's won his war in terms of qualifying through. He keeps up his perfect record. Turner 4, Bolton 3. Our 8th game sees Jakes and Banks go toe-to-toe. And for Peter, his night, his campaign comes to a close.
Matthew Edgar has gone for the bullseye on 92. Please tell me, why have you gone this way?
Bit of safety.
Is that the correct way to go? His next dart would be 17 or treble 17. If he hits the single 17, he's saying he guarantees himself a dart at the ball. It's not quite guaranteed, but the percentage chances of him getting a dart at the ball is quite high. Now, the alternative is going for the treble, so Matt's on 92. Raymond van Barneveld, I believe, was one of the first players to go the treble 20. His basically reasoning was, as a professional dart player, he backs himself with 2 darts being that good to hit a treble. If they don't hit it and they hit a single 20, this is where the next bit of dilemma comes in. Back in the day, they would have probably gone on for the treble again, okay? Nowadays, we don't really see that very often. The next shot with 72 left, 8, maybe 9 times out of 10 is 2 double 18s. I mean, look at the size of the double segment. This is another factor. It's big. The bullseye's tiny. That's the thing, isn't it? I think to myself, I would personally, if you're a good dart player, I think go the single 2 doubles. And then next thing you know, someone's gone the 25 route and I find myself calling game shot. Which route would you do on the 91s, the 92s, the 93s, the 94s? Should you go for it? Or should you lay up? Your opponent's on 212 points. This is a World Championship semi-final. The fans out there, they're all against you. You need something to get them on your side, perhaps. What would you do? Genuinely, what would you do in this situation?
I'd be going for it. Got to go for the bullseye.
And what's your reason behind that? Why would you do that?
Just got to believe in yourself. Give yourself a little bit of a G up. If you hit it, it's going to look incredible. And if you don't, then you've got time to sort it out.
Me, as somebody who likes me mathematics, I would probably say do the sensible thing, lay up. This is a World Championship semi-final. Jared, he wants to get the crowd behind him. So there's 2 options. You might be on 170 thinking about whether to go for it. Your opponent is also on 170 and you're thinking to yourself, He's a great dart player. He's in the World Championship semi-final. Is he really going to take out 170 under this pressure in this occasion? Probably not. So you decide to lay up. Now, we've seen examples of that in the past. I think Mentz or Sulovic famously took out 161, I believe it was, against Van Gerwen when he chose to lay up. This happens quite a lot. Most of the time, your opponent's not taking out that 170 when they come back. So laying up probably is the best thing to do, but sometimes it backfires, and then, well, fair play. Darts maths!
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, Martin Turner got the better of Andy Bolton by 4 legs to 3, averaging just a shade on the 97. It was a really good contest. Both players averaging 96 in that game, and both players have progressed through. And this meeting in Game 8 between Thomas Banks and Peter Jakes is the meeting between the two players who are not going to be in tomorrow night's final. They will be heading back for home following the culmination of this evening's session, although Thomas Banks is going to be here tomorrow afternoon for the Championship Tour finals. But he'll then be heading for home after that. He takes on Peter Jakes, who started so well in this Group B. He won his first couple of matches, won them very well, and at that point we thought he may well be the unearthed gem of the week. But it's kind of backfired from that point onwards. As for Thomas Banks, he's got to play 2 of the last 3 games of this group, and he's just looking to accumulate points and positions.
Peter Jakes really hasn't done much wrong in this group. He's played some great stuff.
84.
But if he beats Thomas Banks, he's going to be a rare breed. Someone who gets 8 points and doesn't qualify. That does not happen very often at all.
$97.
What does Thomas take out of this group? He's got 2 more games to go. He can still get to 6 points with Jakes if he beats him here and he beats Andy Bolton at the end.
80.
That's just to make himself feel better.
Do you know what? I think he'll learn to not get too philosophical at this time of night.
100.
But not everything will always be as easy as it was once upon a time.
Yeah, it's actually not a bad thing. Sometimes, in order to take a step forward, you have to take a step back and be reminded just how hard you have to work.
40. Peter, you got 161.
It's not out of the question. Well, it is now.
125.
Very, very good approach. Does Banks take it this time? He does not.
Score. Peter,
he's had some trials and tribulations on tops and tens.
There's a lot of darts dropping low. But that drops him perfectly into the double AT. Peter Jakes leads 1-0.
You know when they were digging
second leg
the Channel Tunnel?
First. Game on.
Well, obviously you don't because you weren't born when they started it. But when they were digging it, there would have been more difficult bits
85.
to hollow out. And that's what Thomas's career can be like. There are going to be bits of soft land that you'll plow through and think, oh, this is a bit easier than we thought. And then there'll be something that's just a bit harder to go through. This week has been a hard bit. He hasn't made
22.
a great deal of progress. However, it's not something that you just swipe away. You remember it and you think, the next time I'm here, I know the standard that I'm going to need. He has been given very little rope by one of the best Group Bs
81.
we have seen in this series.
We know the people that are in Thomas Banks' corner. We know them fairly well.
43.
And one thing that he has got is a real grounding. And I don't think he'll be humbled by the experience because I think he does know that this is a tough concept. But sometimes you have to be put in difficult situations to know how high the highs really are.
Well, if you think about the year that Thomas has had, it's the best year of his career so far.
58.
You could say the same for Jensen Walker, and both of them, over the course of Friday and the early part of Saturday morning, which it is, they've both come up short.
45.
It doesn't
Thomas
necessarily
Ukai,
have to be
120.
a bad thing that they haven't qualified. It's not ideal.
Yeah. 54.
But it is
Peter
another
Ukai,
learning
143.
experience.
Thomas did like Dartwell. That's why he went bull with the last two. And he may not like this very much. But Jake's unable to take out the 143. Banks will return
92.
for 66. That's
66.
ironic. Banks wanting 66, isn't it? Tops.
Game shot in the
1-1.
second leg. Thomas Banks.
It took me about 5 seconds to get there with Banks in 66, and then I remembered
Third leg is
1966
Thomas to throw first. Game on.
and England's best ever goalkeeper.
180.
I heard a very famous radio station recently having a chat about who was the best ever England goalkeeper.
43.
And they had the audacity to think that it's not Gordon Banks. Are some of these people deluded?
Who did they
59.
pick? Shilton? Pickford?
Jordan Pickford? Make like a turkey and get stuffed.
100.
I want a T-shirt with that catchphrase on.
It's not Jordan Pickford. It's Gordon Banks. End of statement.
92.
I'm happy to put Pickford in the top 5. Because of what he's done.
Oh,
in the show.
absolutely. He's not the best, though.
100.
This would be the best check out of the week.
170.
Numerically.
123.
How many times do we see this? A player who's been eliminated, suddenly, as soon as the shackles are off, he's allowed to play free, he suddenly finds something. And Thomas Banks, in fairness, he's had some good performances this week, but it feels like he's flowing. Free-flowing, free-scoring, and finally those doubles are beginning to hit on a more regular basis.
Fourth leg is Peter to throw first. Game on.
I wonder what Thomas's ambitions are for the rest of the year. As for Peter, I think that's a bit more mysterious.
83.
Because we didn't know what kind of shape he was in coming into this week. But Thomas, finding where he's playing is a bit easier. Because he's doing ADC. He's doing a great deal of stuff in his age group.
60.
I mean, the likelihood is, come Monday morning, he's probably going to say, well, where am I playing next then?
If the truth be told with Thomas, and
134.
we've got to be careful to label a lot of expectation on young players, but when you consider the year he's had, I don't think it's too far-fetched to think that one of the two end-of-year ADC televised events here at the
41.
Super Series would be off the radar, either the Championship Tour or the Global Champs. He's the number 1 seed for both.
43.
It's not out of the question. But I'm sure after this week, that's what he will be getting
100.
ready for.
$60.
If he'd have found that treble 20 through those two darts, he would have had license to make it a 4-person Blue Man group. That would have been magical.
124.
Triple 18 would have left the bullseye.
63. Peter
Jake's
requires
back for
78.
2-2. May just be a solitary dart at tops. May not be anything. Needs a treble 14. Gets it. Recovers well. Double 16.
62. Thomas
And
requires
so
61.
Banks is back for the break. And he goes treble 7 tops.
Game shot in the
Double
fourth
10
leg.
is fouled.
Thomas
The secondary
Banks.
double is pinned. Banks gets the break. He leads 3-1. He has to win both his
Fifth leg,
games
it's Thomas
to
to
finish
throw
on 6
first.
points
Game
level
on.
with Peter. He's a leg away from the first job being completed.
140.
And if he wins this leg and gets the 4-1 victory, any win against Bolton in Game 10 would give him 4th
45.
position. It would demote Jakes to 5th. If you'd have said to me at this point 24 hours ago that Jakes was going to finish last, I would have said, are you feeling okay? Think about some of the things he's done in this group.
140.
He's had a 164 checkout, a 138 checkout. He's hit a fair few maximums. He's had some great averages.
100.
And he could finish last.
Absolutely crazy. But this has been absolutely delirious at times for Thomas Banks. He's on for potential 11 data.
140. Thomas require 81.
He's looking to finish with a flourish. Tops to win it.
Game shot and the
Tops
match.
to
Thomas
win it in
Banks.
some style. And Thomas Banks is turning on the style. He knows he can't make it through, but he's going to give us some flair towards the end of this Friday night. Superb performance, rounded off in style, and he says it's about time. In the end, the average was 92.44, the doubling much better, 4 from 9. That 81 to C proceedings of Peter Jakes losing out by 4 legs to 1. We are going to take a break. And when we return, we're going to watch Martin Turner up against Romeo Gerbavac. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where the stars are shining brightly on this Friday night here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Before the break, Thomas Banks got a 4-1 win against Peter Jakes, averaging 92.44, 4 from 9 on his doubles, and a 12 data to finish for Peter Jakes. That ends his Super Series campaign. Now there's a mysterious case of where has Romeo Gerbavac's darts gone? It's one of those Agatha Christie type murder mysteries where it takes 3 people to have a look and see where has it gone.
Where's Annika Rice when you need her?
Well, we're going to do what everybody's done and have a peer over everywhere. Martin's just been blinded by a light and he's got absolutely no idea what's going on. To be perfectly honest, we've got no idea what's going on. I don't even know what he's lost. And it turned out in the end, it was just on the stairwell. It was hidden in plain sight all along.
It was Romeo Gerbavac with the darts on the stage in Portsmouth.
Well, that's the worst mystery I've ever seen in my life.
This group has been a mystery.
First leg, it's Romeo to throw first. Game on.
But it's been a good mystery. Now, what we want to solve is who wins the group. Because if Turner wins this game,
45.
he will win this group. If he doesn't win this game, he does not.
83.
That sounds awfully black and white, doesn't it? But that is the case.
Well, it can't be more true than that because they are the facts.
140.
And the fact is, Romeo Gerbavac here has had a superb night. If he wins this game, then he will have completed the card
83.
on Friday. He only won one match on Thursday, but in every single match that he has played in this Group B, he has
81.
averaged in excess of 90. That consistency has finally paid dividends.
134.
The last time he averaged under 90 was actually in his last A game against Andy Bolton. A game he won
65.
with 85.59. But if consistency is something he wanted to find in this group, he's found it.
97. Romeo require 170.
Fish time? Fish time? No. But Turner returns for
130.
104.
Martin, you've got
He's already taken this
104.
out once.
He's not going to get it again.
80. Romeo require 40.
Tops time?
Game shot in the first leg.
It's time
Romeo
to take out 40 and
Gerbavac.
3 darts, though. Now, if Romeo wins this game, he can go top
Second
of
leg,
the
it's
table.
Martin to throw first. Game on.
But that doesn't mean that he will win the group. Andy Bolton will still have a chance to do that.
60.
However, if he wins by the biggest possible margin, it's pretty
60.
likely that Andy's not going to catch him. How many times have we seen crazy groups
58.
and strange group situations this week? What about Rahman, top after Tuesday, 5th on Wednesday?
140.
He's top after Thursday, and he had to go to a last leg shootout today just to get through. Gerbavac was
59.
4th overnight. He can win the group. When it comes to Saturday night,
61.
we are going to need more than 15 minutes to figure out who's going to win this thing.
Note to producer. Extended chat, please, tomorrow
28.
night. We might need it. But whatever, how long the chat will be at the start of the programme will begin at 7:30 p.m. on the Super
81.
Series YouTube channel. And then what's going to be an exciting night of darts. And it's an exciting double day of darts because we'll be back live 12:30 for the
121.
WADC Championship Tour Finals, where Dieter Hebber's looking to make it 2 wins in 2 years.
95.
What's the bigger story? Romeo getting to Saturday night or Martin?
You know me,
83.
Nico.
Romeo
I'm an
requires
old
64.
romantic. It's got to be Martin.
Game
But
shot.
that's going to be 2-0 to Gerbavac.
I'm
Third
still
leg
getting
is
over the
Romeo
fact
to
you
throw
just called
first.
yourself an
Game
old
on.
romantic. I've got polo shirts older than you.
100.
I see what you're saying, though. Martin's been around a long time playing this sport.
134.
He's had bits and bobs of success. And making Lakeside is a very, very big deal.
140.
He's going to have his first Modus Super Series Saturday today.
140.
He's got Lakeside to look forward to. Who's to say that he doesn't make the Champions Week as well?
140.
He's shown the levels and the consistencies that you need to win Saturdays.
100. Romeo require 121.
For 3-0. He's not going to get a poke at the ball.
53.
But how
Martin require
about
127.
a late night 1-2-7 game? He is from Yorkshire after all.
40. Romeo require 68.
I wonder if he's starting to tire. Double 18.
32. Martin require 87.
I really thought he was going to hit that. Does Martin hit this on the ball?
55. Romeo
That's a
require
wry
36.
smile.
Game
But
shot, third
Gerbavac
leg,
pins the
Romeo
double
Gerbavac.
18 to open up a 3-0 lead in this contest. Well, this is incredible.
Fourth leg, it's Martin to throw first.
Turner
Game on.
could have topped the group with a win here. Gerbavac will move to the summit of a win here, having started the evening outside a qualification spot with just 2 points to his
137.
name. And doesn't he look in
140.
fine fettle?
To me, it doesn't seem as if playing in his
60.
23rd game of the week is anything out of the ordinary. Some players really struggle
53.
playing this week long. It's a very difficult schedule. But if you practice a lot and you play a lot of
40.
darts, this might feel very normal. And Romeo really does look comfortable, even at this late hour,
162.
doing things like that. And he might be within 3 to 6 darts of finishing off his campaign
100. Romeo require
with a real
146.
burst.
Sprinting to the finish is Romeo Gerbavac.
95. Martin require
Left himself with a
164.
single to double after 12. However, we've seen this 164 go this week. Is Turner going to take it out? He was the width of a while away from
Romeo
doing so.
require 51.
But that could be it as far as his campaign for Group B is concerned. We're going to see him tomorrow night. But Gerbavac to finish
shot
in
and the
style.
match, Romeo
The
Gerbavac.
Croat beats Martin Turner by 4-0. A superb game, and for 8 games running, Romeo Gerbavac has averaged in excess of 90. Consistency of the highest level. And guess what? Romeo's let Martin Turner have a memento. He's given him one of his flights. 4-0, Gerbavac wins. Our final game is a meeting between two players that will want to make sure this head-to-head is in their favour, because when it comes to December, Thomas Banks and Andy Bolton will be playing in the ADC Global Championship. They're two of the top seeds for that particular competition. And so they'll go toe-to-toe in a game which could well stem some tides when it comes to the Red Ribbon ADC event.
Please welcome to the stage, Angry Ginge and John Henderson.
And this is where... Hang on, wow. He's on the bounce out there for Nyland, but you do not expect him to get another visit in this match. John Henderson, double 10. And he pins it to take the opening. Devon coming up first for double 10. He's the one that left it, and he's the one that hits it for the opening leg.
They
talked a good game, didn't they, beforehand? They've not quite delivered it as of yet. He's still got Devon Peterson. This is a big favourite from this moment.
Oh, hello.
It's the big favourites.
2-0. but it doesn't.
The most successful player at the Super Series is the man who turns it around.
He's got it 1-0. Away days and Bradley Brooks.
Away days and Bradley Brooks.
May see a double-double. Does go double 19. What's another double 19? Great shot. What a shot. Very good.
The Bradley Brooks show.
No 180, unfortunately. Did go for this one.
But this could go. This is a match opportunity.
And both their dots stand up, so will they block it? They will not. John Henderson to take himself. I think he was going for a 7 there, but it doesn't matter because he's going to hit it anyway. 47 kills.
Still an opportunity to showcase what he can do. And that's what Steve West can do. A double-double to get the job done. When you get those nerves, you just hang on to the dart a bit too long.
Steve West finds Tops for a breaker throw. They've looked at short 20. Tops to the match. Darts for fun and Steve West.
Steve West and Darts for Fun!
Let's go to our final game of the evening session here at the Modus Super Series. It sees Andy Bolton and Thomas Banks go toe-to-toe. Now, these two, well, they're going to be treading different paths. Andy Bolton will be into the finals tomorrow. Thomas Banks is going to be heading home. He's going to be supporting Eleanor Cairns in the WADC Tour finals, but he will not be participating on Saturday evening. Now, these two, well, they might get accustomed to one another before too long.
First leg, it's Andy to throw first.
Because
Game
these
on.
two are two of the top 3 seeds for the Championship Tour men's finals next Saturday, and are two of the top seeds
59.
for the Global Championship come the end of the year. And so there's a possibility that these two may well be two of the most perennial players we see here in
44.
Portsmouth at the Live Lounge as 2024 draws to a close.
Now, if you're Andy
120.
and you've been to many a Saturday here in Portsmouth, he's about to make his 8th appearance
140.
from 8 attempts in settings like this, not in Champions Weeks because he hasn't qualified through to a Champions Night yet. But he probably knows that if he wins this game, he will go to 2nd position in the Group B table.
96.
He cannot win this group now. That 4-0 scoreline for Romeo, that means he wins this group.
45.
And he's going to have the person who finishes 3rd in his group on Saturday night. If Bolton beats Banks, he will be in the other group
83. And
to Romeo and to Martin Turner. But if he loses, he's going to be in Romeo's group.
There's a possibility
97,
that
Thomas
Group
Yuka,
1 tomorrow could be
138.
Spellman, Bolton, Roman. That's just
98.
nasty.
And you acquire 40.
That's just brilliant. That's just
Game
brilliant.
shot in the first leg, Andy Bolton.
So now that we know who has gone through to Saturday night, we can tell you that the only person
Second
who was
leg, it's
playing
Thomas to throw
at
first.
the final
Game
night
on.
of this week, who's played one group that wasn't Group A, is Martin Turner.
125.
All of the other players were involved in Group A, signifying just how strong it was.
60.
What we do when we come in here early on a Saturday night
77.
is we look at all of the head-to-head records throughout the course of Group A, Group B, Group C. There are going to be such a big list of them.
81.
Lucky there's a double session tomorrow. You've got some time in between to have a look at it. 12:30, remember, tomorrow. We're going to be on the Super
99.
Series YouTube channel for the WADC finals.
Well, it's nearly 1 o'clock in the morning here in Portsmouth. We are going to be back here in less than 12 hours. So Henry Dickin is going to be
47.
having a sleep in the Super Series hammock. You know those kind of hammocks I used to see on Price is Right? Yes, you can buy or get this hammock. All you have to
60.
do is guess how much it is.
Yep, don't need to be reminded of the early morning alarm tomorrow. Thank you, Nico.
100. Thomas, your car, 140.
Love to find one in the middle of them
60.
two. And he almost did, to be fair. Yeah, early kickoff for us. We'll then be with you all the way through till late. And in the middle of that, there's plenty of other bonus
140.
content on the
Thomas,
Super Series
80.
YouTube channel for you to enjoy.
Double 10 for Banks.
75.
That
Andy,
could be
you require
catastrophic in this
73.
game. He might just walk away with 2 points from the entire group. Double top for Andy.
53. Thomas, you require
Banks
5.
is back to square this game up. Double 2.
1.
You sounded like a midnight owl there.
Andy, you require 20. Game shot in the
Well,
second
that one
leg,
registers
Andy
a 2-0
Bolton.
lead. And one thing we will say for everybody planning their viewing
Third leg, it's
for
Andy to
Saturday
throw
afternoon and
first.
Saturday
Game
night,
on.
the atmosphere in this place tomorrow, or should I say later today, is going to be quite memorable. This place is a sellout. And when that happens,
100.
this place is bouncing. There will be a queue outside this place come 11:30.
140.
And there's going to be palpable excitement to see who's going to get that ladies' title tomorrow.
Who's making the bacon sandwiches for the crowds?
97.
I don't know.
To be fair, I do know a guy called Greg who's not too far from here that may be able to
100.
supply us.
Is that Greg with 3 Gs?
No comment.
You don't have comment on a bacon sandwich, you have sauce.
I don't.
40.
You don't have sauce on a bacon sandwich?
Because usually when I order a bacon sandwich first thing in the morning, I've got clothes on which I don't really want to mess up on set.
57.
As you can tell, ladies and gents, we've got to that late night hour here at the Super Series where we really do reveal certain aspects of our lives.
I don't trust people who don't have sauce on their bacon sandwich.
58.
That's a sin.
Well, at least I know not that their trust has been lost.
60.
Bolton looking to set up for a 3-0 lead in this contest.
If you look at the demeanour of Andy Bolton at the minute,
97. Thomas Yukon,
he strikes me as the kind of player that could play another 4 games tonight. He doesn't have to.
104.
But if he had to,
Andy Yukon,
I
109.
bet he could.
Well, he can, but the lights will be turned off. And he could well be sending Thomas Banks one leg away from the exit
77.
door.
Thomas, you require 40.
Great marker.
Game shot in the third leg. Thomas Banks.
There's a bit of a sigh of relief there from Banks because if he misses that double 10, he might be staring 4-0 in the face.
Fourth leg, it's Thomas to throw first. Game on.
Back to 2-1 and back in this contest. This game yesterday was
96.
won by Andy by 4 legs to 1, but it was a game that Thomas Banks pretty much let slip. He missed 14 darts at a double across the 5 legs
60.
that were played in that match and had opportunities to win pretty much every single one of them.
If anything, it's easy for us to say this now, but that game almost set the tone for what was about to happen.
134.
His standard wasn't as high as anybody else's. And even though it wasn't that bad, he did miss
60.
more darts at double than anybody. And tonight, I did say at the start, when Thomas was playing his first game, if he got the same amount of chances
81.
as he did last night, and he was more accurate, he would stand a chance of getting his way out of the bottom two. He hasn't had as many chances.
100.
Well, from 2-0 behind, 6 darts away here, Thomas Banks, from levelling this up at 2 apiece, and he's going the right way about it.
135.
I don't want us to ignore something that's happened tonight, Henry. Romeo has gone from
95.
fourth to winning the group.
55.
Double top.
Game
And
shot
double
in the
10
fourth
again
Thomas
for Banks. How many times have we seen someone start in
Fifth leg is Andy
fourth
to throw first. Game on.
and gone to first after day 2? I'm struggling.
Because usually with
60.
a Group B, there's somebody at the top of the table, and the gap between first and fourth is so big that there's a canyon. And particularly with Group B, because of the
134.
quality of player that you have in the group, the player that is at the top is usually a front runner who will just carry on to the post.
Yeah, usually like Andy.
Yeah.
134.
So this is something that we should remember moving forward for the rest of this series and into 2025.
96.
So if anybody's just got one win and they're 4 points behind the top spot, we no longer
66.
write them off, because Romeo's got himself a situation that we should really say is quite memorable. He's done remarkable things this week.
Fair to say, in the case of Gerbavac, he got it Romeo
89.
done tonight.
Yep. Very fair to say that indeed.
45.
I'm starting to regret saying that Andy could play all night long, because from that moment, it's Banks who's been getting the headway.
Well, ever since you made that comment, it's felt the lights have gone out on Andy Bolton.
$100. Thomas, you require 85.
He could finish this one on double 10 as well.
Yeah.
He's not going to now.
45. Andy, you require 96.
Beautiful dart. Double 18. Is the lead his again?
Game
It is
shot in the
now.
fifth leg. Andy Bolton.
One more leg, and Andy will
Sixth leg,
solidify
it's Thomas to
second
throw
position.
first. Game on. $99.
Do you remember what happened last week? Scott Taylor, second in Group A, second in Group B,
59.
won it. Andy Bolton, top 3 in Group A, could be second in Group B,
57.
could win Saturday night. And Scott Taylor has got 3 weekly titles. Andy's got 2. Looking for a third. And those two guys have already met in a weekly final
60.
before. There was something in the air this week that maybe Andy could follow Scott Taylor. It's still a possibility.
140.
If he wants another omen, Andy Bolton's last weekly win came during last year's Women's ADC finals. Dieter won in the afternoon, Andy won in the evening.
59.
Was that a Białecki final?
No, that was the Dom Taylor match.
Oh, of course. That's right. I remember saying to Dom Taylor when the whole week was
35.
finished, I won't be seeing you again here. And he went straight to Q School and got through.
He's actually the only person
60.
taller than Gary
Thomas,
Barlow's
you got
son.
170.
The fish for Banks. Ironically.
65.
They do get a lot of fish in the banks off the coast of the Carolinas, a place called the Outer Banks. Dangerous waters out there. Get lots of swordfish, lots of tuna.
105.
Alex Spellman could tell us that tomorrow night.
31.
The waters have been choppy in this game, but Andy could be in plain sailing territory if he finds 66 more.
But he's missed the big 16, which would have afforded him a dart at the bullseye. And so Banks will come back to give us one last leg tonight.
83. Thomas, you require 74.
Well, I suppose you've had so much fun and so much drama, we should have one more leg for old time's sake.
54.
Double
and
top,
you require 40.
Thomas. Anyway, Bolton looking at that target. He's now wanting double 10. For second place.
20.
Goes the other side.
Thomas, you require 20. Game shot.
That's 3 double 10s in this game for Banks. I think about it this way. That dart that he threw at tops was so bad.
First. Game on.
It almost put him back on 74.
Well, 12 hours
100.
on from the first dart of the day being thrown. We may well see the last darts of the day being thrown. And in just
60.
12 hours time again, we'll be throwing some more.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can, Andy.
80.
You hit your max and you enjoy it.
57.
Do you remember who played that part in Oliver Twist? The guy who lost his temper at Oliver asking for some more.
Oh, God, I should know this. It's not Faker. Faker was the guy. Pass.
I think it was Harry Seacombe. The guy who used to host
41.
Highway.
Andy, you
Oh,
require
if you meant the
81.
character name. Anyway, for the match, 81. Been a brilliant last leg this for Bolton. But he's not going to round it off in a dozen.
49.
Yeah, because Andy is on the highway to Saturday. And like
77. And you require 32.
the famous Scottish band said, S-A-T-U-R-D-A-Y, bound for Bolton.
The X Factor will finish up in second position, and he is going to be in a heavyweight group because he is going to be alongside Alex Spellman and Brian Roman tomorrow night. That, the tail of the tape from our final game of the evening session, the final game of 25 that we brought to you here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. But the coverage for the day is not completed as of yet because myself and Paul Nicholson are going to head next door. And when we do, we're going to have a chat with Martin Turner, who at the 7th attempt has qualified for a final. So do join us for full analysis and reaction after this short break.
Welcome back to a dramatic Friday night even here at the Super Series, where 8 of the 10 games went with Freddie. The only actually to win a match against the Darts was Romeo Gerbavac, who won every single game this evening. It was a dramatic evening which saw Andy Bolton, Romeo, and this man, Martin Thomas, through to the finals. Martin Turner. Oh, goodness me. Right, this is the table.
I always knew I was good.
I'm getting sacked. Romeo Gerbavac, Andy Bolton and Martin Turner have made their way through to the finals. Peter Jakes and Thomas Banks have been eliminated.
I've been called a lot worse, you're all right.
Well, Martin, many, many congratulations. Martin Turner, I promise you it's Martin Turner, not Martin Thomas that's with us in the studio. Apologies about that. It's been a very long day. Let's talk about your campaign and talk about, first of all, how relieved you must be to qualify.
Well, you know the story. I've been here so many times and I keep getting defeated when I should get through. I've thrown away so many times and it gets frustrating. And I so want to do well here, more than anything. So to finally get over that line, oh, wow. It's just brilliant.
What was the mindset going into tonight? Because you put yourself in a very good position, 6 points going into today. Was it just about...
The mindset was win all 4. You can't think any other way. You're a dart player. And normal events we play, if you lose, you're out. So your mindset is win every game. And yeah, first game against JXC, that was... I had chances as well. I could have got that. And that would have set me up. But inner strength, kept going and kept believing and got over the line.
Did it help having a fellow Yorkshire player in the practice room?
No, not really. No, not really. When I get in a zone, I'm one of those people that when I zone in, I don't know who's there. And it's very rare that I get zoned in. Because, as you know, last 18 months for me personally have been a wreck, an absolute wreck. And I've not played well for a long while. The mist is starting to clear now, finally. I've got a great close circle of friends, one person in particular that's helped me so much. And now I've started to enjoy playing again. I don't care who's there. I know when I play well, I win. If I don't play well, I get beat. It's simple as that.
I don't think I remember you playing this well and consistently over a couple of days.
I haven't, no.
And I've played against you and I've known you for a long time.
You have, yeah.
But the focus that you've shown over the last couple of days and some of the clinical finishing, you must be so pleased with how it's going.
The thing that's let me down over years, and always has done, is my finishing. I can score with anybody, but my finishing's been atrocious. And yeah, when the finishing starts to click, I'm a very, very dangerous player. A very dangerous player.
Please explain to us, because Henry and I speculated about the equipment that you were using.
Yeah.
You were explaining to me off camera about the complexity of the new dart that you have and the increased feel that you've got.
Yeah, well, I've only had them 2 weeks. 180's got me the set I've been after for years. And the last 18 months, I've not enjoyed darts anyway. This year especially, I've not enjoyed it. I've had these darts for 2 weeks now, and I absolutely love throwing again. They just feel so great. You don't have to worry about anything else. Just the dart is perfect. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm really enjoying playing again. And it's been a long while, but they're superb. Yeah, I'm going to be dangerous.
And with the end of the year that's ahead of you, obviously you're going to be into the finals night here at the Super Series. You've got the Lakeside coming up as well next month. There's so much in a darting sense that you've got to look forward to.
Oh, there is. Because I'll be honest, a month ago, I did say that Lakeside is probably me finished. Because I wasn't enjoying darts at all. I wasn't playing like I know I can play. And I'm not a young boy anymore. Christ, I'm 55, you know. It's not going to get much better. And I honestly thought Lakeside would be the end. And when I got the late call up to come here, I thought, yeah, right, come on. Let's get it done this time. So I know I've got a week coming as well for winning a Vault Series. So I know I've got that chance. So I thought, come on, this is the chance.
Peter Wright was nearly 50 years of age when he won his first world title. And his career pretty much started at that point. So what's to say that the best part of your career isn't from here?
Well, bizarrely enough, I was looking at some records a few years ago, and I beat Peter Wright in Germany, and I don't remember the game, but I saw records. I beat him 6-1. At the time, Peter was 50th in ranking in PDC, and I was 53. And I went, what happened? Where did it all go wrong? So, yeah, I feel I'm 55, but I feel more like 35 than I did when I was 35. I feel a lot fresher now. I feel more energetic. Who knows? Who knows? Now I've got the equipment I've been after for a long while. I'm really happy throwing them. My head's starting to clear a little bit now. Yeah, everything's positive.
One thing I will say, Henry, is that when Martin's saying this kind of thing, it can have such a eureka effect because you feel like you don't want anybody to get anywhere near your equipment because it's so precious to you and you feel like you can do anything with it.
You've got a lot
Correct.
to thank Scott Mitchell for, haven't you, this week?
I've got a lot to thank Scott for, yeah.
Because you weren't actually...
Apart from the fact he only booked a hotel for 2 nights, so I've got to find somewhere to stay tomorrow night now as well. That's the only downside.
So there's a story to this. So Scott was meant to be playing in this group. Then he got the call up to play in the World Seniors Masters, which didn't go well tonight against John Henderson. But it's gone very well for you because you picked up the late invite. You've now got your way through to a first finals night. Apart from scamping around for a hotel, a B&B or a sofa, or whatever it is overnight, this has been a really profitable trip for you.
Well, it has, because every time I've got here, I've been invited and I know what's going to happen. And I've been trying so hard. I know in my own head I've been trying so hard. And I've been in some great positions and thrown it away. Because this was a late invite, the pressure was sort of off. I just got these new darts as well, so I just started playing with them. I thought, right, this could be a sign from up there. This is the chance.
Can I ask you about Lakeside? How are you feeling about it now? The way you've played this week, is there a little bit of you that feels actually, if I play like this and play at these levels, I can get on a bit of a run there?
When I'm playing like I know I can play with confidence, I can have a run anywhere. How this is going to work, I've no idea, but I'll guarantee you right now, I'm out to win it tomorrow night.
And you're the only English player in tonight's
Am I
finals.
really?
It's going to be 6 different countries.
I didn't even realise that.
It's a home game for you. It might not be Yorkshire, it's Hampshire, but you're the only English player. So if you have the crowd with you, and it's going to be a sellout as well.
I didn't even realise that.
So there you go.
Great. Honestly, I can't wait. There's one thing that does get me going is people telling me I can't do something. That gets me going. And when you get a crowd atmosphere, brilliant. I love it.
Well, Martin, we'll have another word with you in just a second. Myself and Paul are going to round up what else has happened this evening. Have a look ahead to tomorrow night's final. These are the groups that are going to be in play. This is actually, first of all, how the players got there. Alex Spellman won Group A on Wednesday afternoon. Dean Finn and Brian Roman booked their spots earlier on this afternoon. Whilst tonight, Romeo Gerbavac, Andy Bolton and Martin Turner have booked their places into the finals. Yay. Really, mate, you can hear the smile in Martin's face. The right 6 for you?
You can't argue against it. Well, this is hot off the press, isn't it? Martin's got Gerbavac again. Spellman, Bolton and Roman, that's something that you speculated could happen. That's a great group. It's going to be nice to have Alex back in the room because he's had a birthday week. But Dean Finn, Martin Turner and Gerbavac, I'm loving that group. I think it's really tight.
Group 1's got plenty of experience on big stage. Well, Group 2, I think everybody will sense the opportunity.
Very much so. I think Dean Finn winning Group C, he's been superb the last couple of days. Martin's had his best couple of days, and Romeo's been a revelation this week. He has stood up and told us that he's better than we thought he is, and he's going to be tough to stop.
In terms of you tomorrow night, though, if you were to win this, you've done so much in your career. You've won big titles. I remember we spoke after you won the Isle of Man last year, how much pride you had in winning that competition. But what would a Modus Super Series weekly win mean for you?
I mean everything. Really would. I've said to guys in players' room earlier, if you don't enjoy playing darts down there in this atmosphere, then you're in the wrong sport. It's absolutely fantastic. I've played a lot of years, and we've had some dodgy venues, as you know yourself. We've had some really bad places to play. This is unbelievable. And it's absolutely destroyed me that I've never done it here. Mm-hmm. And I think it's because I've been trying so hard that I've not succeeded here. I've come because it's a late invite, more relaxed this time. Oh, I want it. Believe you me, I want this.
That Yorkshire grit is definitely standing strong.
You can't beat it.
Well, Martin,
there's nothing like Yorkshire grit, my friend.
Well, Martin Turner, many congratulations. We shall see you tomorrow night. Just a quick word. Tomorrow afternoon, WADC Tour Final. Should be a great afternoon, shouldn't it?
Yeah, looking forward to it. At this stage, on paper, you look at Gemma Hayter versus Fallon Sherrick as a potential final, but I'm sure the other girls have got something to say about it.
Well, thank you for now. Thank you, Martin.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow night.
You will.
Double session of darts for you on the Super Series YouTube channel tomorrow. We kickstart at 12:30 for the Women's Championship Tour Finals. Dieter Hedman is looking to defend her title that she won 12 months ago. Keegan Brown will be with us for that. And then we'll return at 7:30 in the evening to see the finals of Week 9 of Series 9, a 7:30 start. Once again, on the Super Series YouTube channel. Paul Nicholson will be back with myself and Keegan for that one. But that is just about it from us. Group B has come to a close. Martin Turner has finally realised his Modus Super Series dream. Andy Bolton has showed a bit of X Factor. But tonight it was all about Romeo, Dart Val Romeo. His fairy tale has come true.